which is super nuts, right? This is the race that I love, the race that Gary's won as a driver twice. I've won it as a driver 4 times, and it would be fantastic. I think it'd be the first time in history that a team owner, winner, and a driver can win super nuts. So Rainey on Sweet Tech, I don't even know what to say. I've never felt power like that. It was Kyle and I just we grabbed 6th gear and it was like DRS open. And me being a tall guy, right? Even though I'm a lot skinnier now, I'm still pretty big in the go-kart. So I'm just so happy, so thankful. I'm really exhausted. I've lost so much weight. Not so much for karting, but for GTD and IMSA, there is no weight for the driver. So if you're 120 pounds, you race against a 190 pounder, you have a big advantage. So I'm down about 33 pounds since this time last year. So my body's not used to it. I'm pretty beat up. My back is pretty shot. But now I have a race next week. I have a test tomorrow. So get everything ready and go celebrate with Gary. I'm so proud of this team, and yeah, this is the beginning.
Congratulations, Danny.
Thank you so much.
That's Danny Formel, folks. We're back to, so we're going to be getting ready to switch over. K.A. Junior.
Yes, indeed. K.A. Junior, in fact, underway for these drivers. Pettit with a good start over the rest of the field as we make our way through sector number 2. Pettit has Malcut all over the back end. Katowski should say, amongst the top 3 also in the early going. Juvik also up front. Issues were at the back of the field, mind you, as they were coming up to the start box from the 826 machine. That's seen Nathan Goldset stack onto what's been a bad luck bonanza for him today. Some battling going on for about 4th on back. Belong able to jump up a spot as the top 3 stay single file. Everybody trying to get the elbows out in the battle up towards the top 5. Some sends up the inside. Good start for Popescu. Able to gain plenty of time already in this run, already inside the top 10. The top 2 push each other along as the top 3 make their way to the start and finish line. So far, they stay 1, 2, 3 like they started. Max Weiland up into the 6th position to begin this run also. Goldset has entered the pits after his contact earlier on to begin this run coming up to the start blocks. Now, that will see him finish off the weekend. Unfortunate for him, as a DNF, him and a couple others down the order. He'll finish off in 45th position. 16 laps, remember, in these finals here today for these drivers. K.A. 100 Junior still working its way around the circuit. It's Pettit, Malcut, Katowski, your top 3 in the fight. Now Balog and the rest of the field working its way on through. Weiland still works its way into 6th position, making 5th position in the choo-choo train. They work their way now to the final sector. 16, 17, 18, no moves so far. Bunch of front runners as they've been cooperating with each other and remaining patient here. And that patience is going to be pivotal the rest of the way for a lot of these competitors to be able to keep going. Popescu is now driven up to the 8th position, all the way up from 13th spot. Nathan Dupuis also on the move, up 4 also. You see those drivers in the lineup. Vanchev is now in the top 10 from 14th starting spot.
Again, Alexander Vanchev had to go from way further back in the pre-final yesterday. Now as he rolls the inside on his teammate there in the 812, Luca Popescu, mark him up a little bit further inside the top 10. Hurricane Trav still leads the way though, folks. Isaac Malcut 2nd, Nico Katowski 3rd. In this next group here with Vanchev and Dupuis, 2 drivers that had a great shot at the championship coming in. It's a little bit bigger of the deficit now, but still Nathan Dupuis is fighting for 2nd in the title fight with Travis Pettit. And so based on what could happen today, all of a sudden we could see a little bit of a different lineup on the podium. And if Nate Dogg can keep on hunting and follow Vanchev up to where Pettit leads currently, it could change things. We'll keep tabs on all of it here now as we get rolling. 3 laps in, this time by 13 laps to go in K.A. Junior. We go down to Caleb.
Yeah, thank you. We heard one side of it from Mateus. Here from your side, Angel, you're obviously in 3rd there, and then the last turn happened. Talk about it.
Well, I was expecting it. I pushed him. It's fair game. We really don't have respect for each other. I wasn't giving up where I was. You know, there's money on the line. I'm just trying to have fun and hold my ground. Tires definitely didn't feel as good as what I ran this morning on. You know, so it's unfortunate, no excuse, just hard racing, trying to have fun, you know. Today was about racing for Cody Beck. His father passed away, so I was trying to bring it home. And unfortunately, you know, just cars didn't play out correctly, but the Sonny Magic package was on rails all weekend. It's just, you know, all the cars you gotta have a full house, you know, and that's what it takes to win. Congrats to Danny and Billy, obviously. But, you know, it's just, it was a bit of a pissing match between me and Matthias. And it goes for a lack of respect. You know, these younger kids don't understand respect, and it's earned, not given. And he hasn't shown me any reason to respect him.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, no problem.
So we go back to the on-track activity now with the main event in KA 100 Junior. Travis Pettit still leads. The pack has closed in a bit, but now they're starting to battle again. Former teammates Max Weiland, the protege to AJ Myers and Andrew Boydishow, battling it out with Gabriel Balog back and forth. Weiland gets the spot back away there in turn number 7, the cell tower hairpin. And behind him, still watching from 6th, Cole Madero, so that he'll lose his spot. Here comes Vanchev, and the points leader is still looking to put an exclamation point on this banner junior season he has put together in his first of 2 tries to secure a title today here in K100 Junior. Heading into this one, again, it's close, but still looking good for the 896. The higher he climbs, the better it'll be.
Yeah, right now Pettit's doing his job by leading the race, but Vanchev is in control of his own destiny. Just is a stellar driver throughout his runs. It's going to be difficult to hold him back because right now he's one of the fastest cars on the racetrack in general. Still, though, some battling in front of him is going to help. Balog yet again in front of Weiland. An hour stand now by Vanchev. Passes by Weiland to make his way up inside the top 5. More off tracks in the background. Dupuis dropped the tire for a split second. But Vanchev is flying as he picks off these drivers one by one, a car to lap on average.
Alexander Vanchev has been incredible here this entire weekend, faced with the most adversity he has ever seen, at least in this year, and in comparison to how fast and strong he's been, how dominant he could have been had a few more woes not befell him. Up to 5th, battle for 2nd, Malcutt on Katowski. Travis Pettit still leads here at the halfway mark as we head down to one happy team owner, a 1-2 finish for GFC and Pro Shifter. Caleb.
Thank you, Xander. Gary, I was just telling you, right, I remember back to Speed Sports at the start of the year, you said you guys just missed an opportunity, right? You come back to Newcastle Motorsports Park, end of the year, 1-2. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great. I gotta just say thanks. I really don't have much words right now. Obviously, I'm extremely happy, but I just have to say thank you to all of my team. It takes a whole team to be at this level, and the amount of sacrifices that everyone has to make, from everyone, from our parts people, from our cooks, from our mechanics, from our staff, from our driver coaches, from our technical staffs, to Sweet Tech, my family, you know, making the sacrifice. We're always gone. I know it's hard. It's hard for everyone to be here, doing what we're doing, conditions that are hard, and I just want to say thank you to every single person that's been a part of this, because it's not just one person. It's not just the driver. It's not just me. It's everybody. It's a team effort, and they showed the resilience, and we showed our strength in maybe taking something that wasn't perfect at the beginning of the year and just methodically working at it. And I had a feeling we were going to come here and do well. We've been working really hard back home silently, and it's just great that the team gets rewarded for all their hard work. They won this race, not just a single person. Everyone deserves this win, from families and everything. And I know my wife and her family's back home watching us, and thank you. Thank you for letting us do this.
I'm also curious to hear your side of what, the other stuff that we saw in that race, right? You were a Pro Shifter driver for so much time. How have you seen this Pro Shifter class progress racecraft-wise?
It's not correct. That's all I'll say.
Thank you, Gary. Congrats again.
Well, Gary Carlton, the focus less about everything else, and deservedly so, for that result that they have been working so hard for. And now the results here in KA Junior has just massively shifted. Nico Katowski pushed to the wayside. Max Weiland on the move. Vanchev continuing to hunt towards the leaders. And out front, Travis Pettit, no idea what's going on behind him. He's continuing to try and put his head down. The Speed Concepts Racing Carlos Sainz machine already with wins on the year, looking for more as there's more contact and off. That is Cole Medeiros going to the wayside. Contact with himself and Tristan Murphy. And they all line back up on the bottom.
Able to hold on to it, though, even with that little bit of a cliffing point that we have coming out of turn 14. But now it's the matter of seeing where does he set himself up. Medeiros just waiting in the wings as they start to calm down a little bit. Belong and Vanchev working together to close up. They haven't been really working together so much back here. Right now, separation has built up to about 10 kart lengths between those packs. Another slide. Katowski trading some paint once again. Goes for the crossover. No contact with Medeiros.
Oh man, two together. Cole Medeiros able to rejoin. Katowski and more all having their races again explode. And look at now that middle group that Nathan Dupuis is at the helm of is crazy up front. The four are tightening as well. All kinds of action here in KA 100 Junior. Travis Pettit, still your leader, and still with a gap enough to hold back Little Sizzle for the moment. Gabriel Belog there and Alexander Vanchev. Faster than DHL right now, moving through the field, up to fourth, and on the cusp of second and third. Belog knows it. He wants second away from Malkiewicz. He'll go to the inside, and Ike's going to lose that spot. Isaac Malkiewicz back to third.
Okay.
Through turn 3 and down the run to 4 now. Alexander Vanchev on the bumper of Isaac Malkiewicz. He has plenty of time still. 7 laps to go as we get set to tap in with a little bit of an angle back here in a moment with our Shop AKR replay for that chaos that exploded just in this sector last lap. Vanchev, by the way, on the move now, getting ahead of Malkiewicz, able to move past him. As up front, Pettit still leads to Belog, to Vanchev, and then to Ike.
Yeah, Vanchev just quietly biding his own time right now, doing perfectly in this race with pass after pass. And keep in mind, looking to try and become a double champion here today. It's been that type of a drive where he's been having to claw his way forward. The rest of these drivers, though, just continue to fight on out. Here's that contact we were talking about. Started with a little bit of argy-bargy. Katowski trying to get to the outside of Medeiros, but right here, there's the crossover attempt, runs into the right side, and off they go. That spins out Katowski with the hard contact.
Yeah, again, it's tough, right? That same kind of bottleneck at the end of turn number 6. He had the inside. They were nose to nose. He was up on the inside curbing. Medeiros was trying to keep it tight to minimize the damage of how far back he would fall on the outside lane, knowing he had the inside in the next turn, and this is the same type of situation in these 90s. Two kids just not wanting to give right there. Now, as they run, Alexander Vanchev moving up the board, closing the gap. Travis Pettit needed a massive day and still a not-so-great day for Vanchev. Sadly, Alexander Vanchev just will not be denied with the pressure on, with the way qualifying unfolded, charging through the grid. He started dead last in the pre-final, 45th, final row. Moved forward into the top 20. 16th on that last lap alone with 5 spots gained. And now rolling from there through the field, up 11, digging for more as he works on Gabriel Belog. And he might just be able to sign this championship bid off with a race win because Pettit is not too far away. But again, these two are thinking title. And along with the race win for Malkiewicz, for Belog, this is all about the glory and that trophy that's given to the man first to the checkered flag on lap 16. And with 5 laps to go, they've got a real shot, as does Weiland further back in 5th.
Yeah, right now Weiland needs them to start battling, I think, to really have a great opportunity to close on up here. 1.4, 1.5 seconds, the gap between 4th and 5th position, mind you. Malkiewicz just remaining patient. Everybody remaining patient at this point. No one wants to risk being the one driver that ends up going too hard and costing themselves a chance. Right now, Balog hasn't been able to break that 2-3 kart length buffer that seems to have been built up right now. Pettit's done a great job maintaining this gap and being able to control things, running 1:13.1s, setting his fastest times of the race right now. In fact, everyone's starting to pick up that tempo at the right time as these tire pressures start to reach that optimal window for the race conditions here at the moment. In fact, it was the top 5 that all set their personal best last time. What about this time? This time by, the speeds end up continuing for those drivers, even faster for the top 3.
Yeah, I don't think without any more movement here in the front of the field, you'll see Max Weiland be able to arrive. At this point, they would have to start white lining early, which is still possible, but that would mean someone would need to break the threshold that Travis Pettit's been able to maintain for every lap of this race. After the opening couple of laps craziness that saw Nate Golseth go out, saw multiple others go to the wayside, Travis Pettit has just been in control and doing the exact same thing we've witnessed to this point in the weekend that Diego Ramos has been able to do in KA100 Senior. Stay about a car length to 2 out in front of the field and roll maybe a little bit of a longer gear range to make up for not having a draft on the end of the straightaways, because you're able to just get out of the corners and keep the corner speed up high enough. But Vanchev hasn't been this close to Pettit all race. What does he do here with Balog? He's going to shove him forward. That'll help as Malkiewicz fades back a bit. 3 to go, and they're close, a car length away, about as close as Balog has been to the leader.
Yeah, and that's all because of the efforts from Vanchev. At this point, Vanchev, I think, is just playing the patience game. Knows if he passes by Balog and doesn't get it done immediately on that move, then he's going to lose the chance on Pettit. If anything, he's going to be about, I'd say, 4 kart lengths back by the time a pass is done. That's going to be what's on the mind here on picking his battles and picking his spots. Either way, he's in the line for a championship where he'd be running at the moment based on some of the estimates. It's just a matter of, is Pettit going to slip up? Easier said than done. The answer, I don't think, is going to be that quite easy. For Vanchev right now with 42 points estimated, still to be in that swing if things hold here with Vanchev, mind you, having the fastest lap. Well, quite simply, he can do whatever he needs to. In the cockpit, he knows that he's in a great spot regardless, just has to control his destiny. But right now, things are good as somebody on the other side of the course kicked up a lot of dirt.
Yeah, that was a big moment further back. And indeed, as the times update and the points update with Alexander Vanchev taking the top time, that gap will open an extra 10. So plenty of room to play. But again, he still needs to perform, still needs a good run, with Pettit looking at a massive points haul, having rolled off from the pole. So 52 the mark, but again, that's with Vanchev in third. If they collide, and if something goes wrong amongst this lead group of 4, Alexander Vanchev all of a sudden is in danger of losing his first career national junior title. And again, it'll be his first shot at 2 of them today to officially seal it off. Now, this has all been, again, happening up at the front. Behind them, you look at the deltas on your screen. With the lap to go this time, Weiland 2.5 back. Luca Pescu another second away, another second to Halfin. And then there's a little duo of Murphy right on Halfin's rear, and then Nico Orbezo cracking the top 10 with a march from 31st on the grid, mind you, in the Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart, the small Houston, Texas-based operation. Rolling for the 808 here today, and Jackson Gibson currently inside the top 10 as well with a 5-spot net gain. But a hard charge from 31st here, an impressive run. Now with 1 lap to go, 22 spots up for Nico. But the final lap's underway. Vanchev doesn't need to win it, but I'm sure he'd like to. As they run, he is safe. 8th or better will get the job done here today. Gabriel Balog trying to get close enough. Travis Pettit's had to be perfect, and he has been here with half a lap to complete it.
Right now, he's just maintaining and farming out that gap right now, making sure it stays stable, it doesn't end up breaking. Right now, the log up for grabs. Vanchev saying, enough waiting. I've waited for a long time. May as well try and get the best possible finish for the podium. And now, at this point, he gets to try and celebrate.
Alexander Vanchev is going to spoil a little bit of the party here for Travis Pettit. Second, even third, even fourth would be enough for Vanchev's first title. But on Sunday, as it was in Cincinnati, Hurricane Travis strikes again, and he wins round 6 in KA Junior. Jose Alejandro Halfin able to steal the fast lap of the session on the final couple of laps, but it won't matter. A 42-point margin then increases back up off the second place results here with a last-ditch effort to get another position on the box for Alexander Vanchev, your unofficial KA 100 Junior champion. And for Travis Pettit, everything in his power he did, and a flawless drive puts Travis on top of the leaderboard once again. A cool sign of respect here for the young guns in KA Junior. And Speed Concepts Racing reigns victorious over a sold-out field for every single round of the SKUSA Pro Tour, with the cap off at round 6 going the way of Travis Pettit. Vanchev to Balog, Isaac Malkiewicz, Max Weiland, your top 5 in the race. And as things shake out, Travis Pettit's impressive drive today should clinch the vice champion spot on the number 2 plate for 2026. Nathan Dupuis recovers from Saturday with a great drive here on Sunday to put himself to 3rd. Max Weiland's valiant efforts there in the main, just a little bit short of the championship podium. 4th by our calculations. Isaac Malkiewicz, P5, with a solid run in that main. P4 for him. Murphy, Nico Katowski, Jackson Gibson, Jose Halfin into the top 10 standings. But Travis Pettit, through the scales, he's done it again.
Unbelievable, man. Oh, so awesome. Watch out, dude. I don't know how you do it, man. Unbelievable. Good job. Thank you. Congrats. Thank you. Congrats to you guys, too. Man.
Oh my god, the Kart was insane.
Alexander Vanchev, second place, more than enough. From 14th on the grid, he needed 8th or better to clinch it. He'll get an extra trophy, a bonus, with a podium in the final main event of the KA Junior season. And now the 896 is unofficially your KA Junior SKUSA Pro Tour 2025 champion. With that performance, what a run here for Alexander Vanchev. Let's go down to our race winner. Perfect when he needed to be, Travis Pettit.
Travis, what a race there. Your dad asked you, he doesn't know how you did it. How did you do it out there, man?
You know, I just had to be consistent, hit my marks every lap, and put my head down and go forward and just go.
Second year in the junior ranks, you're a vice champion here in KA Junior. Who would you like to thank for the second place finish?
I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my family watching back at home, my trainer, Coach Ben from the U Movement. I've been working out with him pretty much every week, and it's been helping me race and have good endurance and strength. So, yeah. And I also want to thank Speed Concepts Racing, Switch Racing Engines, and
Congrats on the win, Trav.
Thank you.
We'll go right back to back here with Alexander Vanchev as well. You're a champion here in KA Junior. Talk about that again, going in, with the number 1 plate next year.
No, unreal feeling. I mean, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced before to be champion of probably the most prestigious series in the U.S. But yeah, the day started off pretty rough, last in qualifying after a crash. But, you know, I kept my head up, and I knew that I didn't need to take too many risks, but I was also able to get back to the front to try and get some money from the final for finishing second.
And again, like you said, a lot of hard work. Who would you like to thank for making this possible?
Yeah, everyone at RPG has been supporting me, helping me develop as a driver throughout the entire season, and without them, I don't know where I would be. But yeah, specifically Joni, Alex, BBS for sure, and my mechanic, and of course my parents at home.
You're a champion, Alex. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Alexander Vanchev, your champ. Travis Pettit, your race winner. More action to go. Still plenty of mains on tap for the SKUSA Pro Tour Summer Nationals. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's up, Brandon?
You sound defeated. A long day at the office?
Yeah, got stuck at a cat food marketing meeting for like 3 hours. I don't know a thing about cat food, and I don't even work in marketing. And then I got sent on a coffee run like I was some sort of intern. Then at the end of the day, when I want to go get gas, I just realized everything is so darn expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, you got that right.
Like, do you have any idea how much we're spending on Netflix?
That's like 20 bucks a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like 50 bucks a month.
But you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today.
Paulie Massimino wins in KA. Paulie Massimino is a winner in OKN Stars.
Take your driving to the next level with one-on-one coaching from 2024 OKN Stars champion, Paulie Massimino. Kart rental options are available if you'd like to keep yours at home, and drivers in all classes are welcome, from Briggs 206 to Mini to KA100 and X30. With in-depth data analysis, onboard video footage review, and lead follow on-track sessions, each private coaching session will see you end as a more complete driver than when you started. Book your coaching session now.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself, quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Attention Superkarts USA drivers. Be sure to order your complete photo package from On Track Promotions. All drivers receive a minimum of 40 photos from throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with instant access from our automated delivery system. Visit otp.ca right now to get instant access to your photos.
Welcome back, everyone, to today's action here on Kart Chaser. It's time for the Micro Swifts, brought to you by Velocity Racing, Sodi Kart USA, as we get set to go. Here's your starting grid. Brody Stoffel's on the front row with Liam Francisco. Then it's Leo Simone and Zev Gottschalk, your top four. Then Aiden Go starts in fifth. Joey Joe starts in sixth position. Lennox Lockhart is on the inside of row number 4. Dutch Westbrook is to the outside. Jack Katelski starts at 9th today with Hudson Howard looking to be like the Hudson Hornet and power his way from the 10th position. Brody Brown starts in 11th with Samuel Chiveri in 12th position. Bo Wyatt and Dominic Nagel, your top 14 here, Xander.
Final few rows here further back. You have Caden Gladera for Velocity Racing, Sodi and Trace Sanders. Franco Schiavo and Liam Astalis roll back from row number 9. Then it's Grayson Knifick and Leon McPhail rounding your top 10 rows. Hendrick Ross had a fantastic drive from the back yesterday. He'll have to do it from 21st again today to get to that similar finishing spot. And Mason Brody the same, back behind him in 23rd. They start alongside Rodolfo Garza under the CRG USA camp, Brody Allegreda. And the rest of the 29 Micro Swifts already. The final few stragglers getting into line. We've got 2 main events in the books. We still have plenty more to go with 14 laps on the docket for your Micro Swift main event. On the inside, Brody Stoffel. On the outside, Liam Francisco. Problem further back, one spinner. We stay good, and it looks like it will be good. We're greening away down to turn number 18. Can we get them all through to one? Yes!
Good start for Stoffel as he makes his way around the racetrack, trying to bring his teammate around the circuit with him. Gottschalk able to jump up to third quickly. Francisco quickly getting shuffled down to the 5th position. All of this as well. They run single file. Francisco wants the spots back, goes aggressive for 4th. Go, still trying to get the elbows out, back and forth they go, as Go does go up to 4th position. Plenty of goes to go. It's go time after all to start.
No doubt, Aiden Go on the gas. He is now the leader of the main group here, trying to hunt down the race leaders as we watch them work their way into the infield and around and back out of turn number 12 towards the shark fin corner. Brody Stoffel to Leo Simone to Zev Gottschalk. A great battle amongst them all to end out the pre-final. A number of penalties for various reasons, from tram lines to pushback bumper deployments to the like. And that all together has put a few up and down the board. One driver to keep an eye on, Slate Harrell in particular. The heartbreak from the pre-final puts him from the tail end of the field. Let's see how high he can climb and how far he can go on the first lap alone. 1 down, 13 to go as we follow with Aiden Go and Joey Joe there, 4th and 5th. With plenty of racing left on the docket, Brody Stoffel leads through 3.
Yeah, right now the top 3 looking to check out once again here with how things are looking. Championship front runners had a bit of a battle when it comes to themselves on the racetrack today, except for Brody Stoffel, who's done a phenomenal job being able to keep it clean. But all of this as well, Francisco looks over the shoulder for a split second, keeps an eye on Joe. The rest of the drivers keeping it nice and calm. That's the major thing if they want to close up, because here's the thing when it comes to the micros and the minis in particular. We've seen they usually don't like to wait that long. They like to battle it out. They like to go back and forth, and that opens up doors for the rest of the field to pack up. If they start battling 2-3 times over, that opens up the door for everyone else to rejoin the train. Looking like the 2 teammates know what's at stake, though, are not forcing the issue yet. Gottschalk may force the issue eventually here in the next few laps.
Yeah, when Zev Gottschalk right behind the 2 JHDDs. I'm not sure, again, like you said, if he wants to, he almost could. He's not quite close enough at any given point, but if they do battle, he'll have a chance at it. Regardless, further back, they're just watching the top 3 get away. Liam Francisco, Aiden Go, Joey Joe, Lennox Lockhart there in the Velocity. Sodi sits 7th, Jack Katowski in 8th, Hudson Howard 9th, and Brody Brown, 2 drivers that had some adversity on Saturday trying to claw their way towards the front of the pack with a long way to go. 3 seconds away, end of the top 10 currently.
Yeah, very calm race so far for the micros for the most part outside of the start. Again, these drivers just trying to make sure there's no issues. Here's a swap though. Opening the door, Stoffel moved back to third as Simone jumps his way on through. Leo up to the point. Godshock followed through for second. And there's that overlap I was talking about. That closed up the pack by another 3-4 kart lengths. One more battle like that, and they're right into drafting range to join the fight and make it a big-time pack.
As they run, Brody Stoffel would have a massive margin over Zev Godshock. He entered the day with an ace in the pocket as well, considering the fact that he has a drop round of 240 marks. So far, so good here for Brody. Still leading the way, looking fantastic, of course, in the championship. And whether Zev Godshock gets the better of him or not, on track should not play a factor. Dutch Westbrook versus Godshock. That'll be the interesting thing as the points continue to change of who ends up better off there with all the updates to go. It's close, and again with this here, Brody Stoffel still out in front by enough, but it's just a hair. Zev Godshock currently holding the fastest lap. He lost it that lap to Hudson Howard. That'll knock it back to 64 away.
Lex Lockhart taking some pokes right now in this pack, wanting to pass by Go. Fortunately, can't find a way to pass Go and collect 200 right now. But all of this is while Godshock just controls things at front, keeps things at bay. Some of the others are indeed going to make the moves on Go. Lockhart able to slip his way through. All of this is seeing this field start to separate into little mini packs of 2, 3, 4 carts for the most part, compared to the big choo-choo train we've seen in a couple of these races where it can go as far as 20 carts deep. A lot of squabbling amongst these drivers right now.
Four laps complete, 10 laps to go, and the margin, well, it kind of held even for a couple laps, then opened up that lap by about a couple tenths. Just a second and a half, now a second and 3/4 away for 4th, 5th, and 6th. And again, the sunshine we've had all day long is starting to fade a little bit. It's something to, again, keep tabs on throughout the afternoon. Yesterday, wild showers greeted us at the beginning of the main events and the end of the pre-finals. Today, maybe a little bit later as we take a look. Oh my goodness, if that's correct, that's a lot of green that's in the bottom right corner that might be headed our way. So for now, at least in the micros, all good, dry racetrack, no liquid sunshine, but no sunshine on the circuit either. It's Joey Joe making a move in now the overcast conditions on Liam Francisco, and look who's joined them. While Lennox Lockhart had been chipping away, Hudson Howard has been chopping wood back there in 7th, and now up to the pack for 4th as the teammates collide. Up front, Brody Stoffel and Leo Simone. A little bit of dirt kicked up, and a big-time lead for Zev Godshock.
That's not how you want teammates to fight. What's the word? First rule, don't wreck your teammate. In that case, they're getting a little bit uber aggressive through 16 and 17, and now it's going to take a lot of work to close back up to Zev Godshock. The point tally is not going to be majorly affected. Brody Stoffel still held on to a decent cushion, but it's still going to be the matter of if Stoffel falls back into the clutches of these carts, of those 4th, 5th, 6th on behind, especially with a hard-charging Lockhart and a hard-charging Howard, well, a lot can change over the course of a few laps as we're approaching halfway soon.
Quite a bit could change with still so much left in the going. But at that same token, Justin, Zev Godshock was the only driver to me that really looked like he had pace by himself that could equal out to a battle pack or two drivers working together nicely. And while this time Leo Simone got a rocket ship exit out of turn 14 and is going to close back up, if they allow the 221 to get further out in front, well, maybe, just maybe, he can keep that gap to the end. A year ago, Zev Godshock watched from just a bit further back in the leaderboard his brother Win score the win. And now Win Godshock, already a Mini Swift winner on the Pro Tour with an impressive resume to boot. The two brothers have had a very busy year. The parents and the family have had to balance trips to Europe, trips to the States, all from Curacao. And this weekend, they've got at least the two boys both racing at the same event. And Zev Godshock is knocking on the door of his opportunity to break through and become a SKUSA Pro Tour race winner.
That'd be a great opportunity, absolutely. That Bennett has been fast all weekend long and throughout this entire season whenever we've seen him. Right now, though, he's got Simona who's just looking like they're trying to wind something up and be able to set something up for a move pretty soon. That air pack, by the way, still sees Nico Kwiatkowski riding on and keeping patient amongst those in the choo-choo train, just trying to close on up, needing to get within about 2 seconds. Right now, 1.6, 1.7 seconds, the gap between the main pack and the Hornet's Nest. That features an extra 2-3 carts to it.
Halfway in and halfway home this time by. It'll be 7 down and 7 to go. Zev Gottschalk continues to lead. Taking a look at some of the other big movers. How about a tip of the hat to Mason Brody with some get up and go. 23rd on the grid, and he was 12th last time. He'll be 12th again this time by, a little ways back from the next group with Brody Brown and Dutch Westbrook working together, a pair of Bennicks, but working his way and moving the chains. Mason Brody in his first weekend with the JHDD crew, the Kart Republics. A whole lot of blue and white and a whole lot of the blue, white, and red shields on our leaderboard full-time inside the top 10 here. Justin, 2nd, 3rd, and now 4th as Hudson Howard has climbed to the front of the second group.
Yeah, Howard's been very good here today. It's been impressive from qualifying onward in terms of what that machine's been able to do. Be able to power forward in a lot of these passes. After all, the goal is chasing dreams and making memories. They've been able to chase the dream. They've been making a lot of memories here so far, here with this run. And they're actually pulling away a little bit, Howard is, from Lockhart and company. So at this point, if Howard's able to latch onto the draft of the teammates in front of Simona and Stoffel, that could really be helpful to the cause there to make sure those 3 teammates can all try and gain up and try and figure out a way around Gottschalk up front.
Mason Brody has some battle scars on the front bumper of that Kart Republic, but still it's fast. And now as the sun comes back out behind the clouds, we can see visually the gap is opening from 3rd back to that group in 4th, but it's not necessarily massive either. At that same token again, we're watching Lennox Lockhart, Liam Francisco, Hudson Howard, now swapping spots again. Of course, the previous lap, staying just within eye shot of your top 3. Florian by there is the lead trio. Here's the next quartet. This is 4th through 7th, back to Jack Kwiatkowski on the TKG Biro Art. And then a little gap to Joey Zhou, who's only 6 or 7 tenths away. You saw Lennox again there pull alongside with Liam. Going into the shark fin, won't have anything change. It'll be still Lockhart out in front of the group. But they need to just stay a bit patient here because it's only a matter of time before we see the leaders begin to trade spots up front again. You just need to wait till the end. But I don't know if you'll get that. You don't have any teammates here in this group. They're all under different camps. Lockhart with Velocity Racing, Sodi. Francisco with Ryan Perry Motorsports support and Nitro Kart. Hudson Howard with J. Howard Driver Development, and then Kwiatkowski with TKG, and then the RPG Cosmic, another oddball, another variable, another different program, and Joey Zhou.
Yeah, and at this point, eventually that co-opetition, so to speak, in terms of making sure they're on the same page, is going to be lit asunder and turn into a pile of rubble. Right now, for now, it's just a matter of just seeing what they can actually do. I don't know how much battling would cost 3 seconds, but I think it would be one of the most epic battles of all time to be able to close up that ground. Right now, that may force the issue here with the eyeball test to eventually get going here as the laps count on down. The other pack is remaining patient right now, just making sure they limit the variables on their end here and get out as far as possible to make sure these drivers don't have any chance or another second wind or a third wind or a fourth wind to be able to move forward. Here's the look of the poke, though, at least. Just not close enough to be able to actually get the move done quite yet in that case.
Lennox Lockhart up to 4th, now back to 6th. If it updates again, it might knock him out, but currently, even with Zev Gottschalk leading and tracking for the win, he would be up to third. And even with that shuffle back, he's still third in the title. Now Gottschalk back to P2. That all of a sudden brings things close. But Dutch Westbrook again moves up the board. So a big change here inside the top 4 in the championship, specifically second, third, and fourth, the 2 and the 3 plates for next season. If, of course, many of these young superstars don't take the jump to the next challenge and go to the mini swift class that still has their championship up for grabs later today.
Yeah, Bennick overall will still be, I think, happy with a great season. They are really good as a program from what I've seen. Anytime we've seen their type of karts on the track of the micros and minis, they're one of the top teams for this style of racing in terms of what the organization's been able to get underneath the engine package and be able to put together performance after performance. Things keep on shuffling in their pack, by the way. Now Katowski, he is still leading that group, but will that change again here? It's changed a lot every time we've gone around. This time, not so much. Everyone remaining patient. Howard still looking at the top 5 with about 3 to go.
Yeah, 3 laps remain. And it does look like, while the gap is only incrementally opening up now with Jack Katowski up to 4th, that there may not be much more movement from how many karts we get to see battling it out for the win and ultimately for the podium steps, barring any outside intervention from race control. Doesn't appear to be any of the top 3 drivers having a pushback bumper deployed, at least not fully. That would be more visible. You still may be able to push in one side, which is a lesser penalty and not be as easily seen by the naked eye here or by our fantastic camera crew around the circuit. But either way that you slice it here, Zev Gottschalk is in a good spot to fight for his first win, and Brody Stoffel is in a great spot to fight for his first national championship. And further back, the position swapping here in this group and the positions further down the road may change second and third. Here's a fight for the lead. Brody Stoffel, who does he pick? He'll pick Gottschalk and push past Leo Simone. Zev Gottschalk to the lead, coming at 2 to go.
Interesting choice to not push your teammate there, but looking to take some opportunities near contact there as Stoffel got loose, going through 3. Now looking to try and see if they can build up a run now together here maybe. See what they can do to get around Gottschalk. Looking to try and sort something out as Gottschalk builds a small buffer. Stoffel going a little bit wider, try and get the diamond line for the corner exits through 7. They rumble their way through the middle parts of the racetrack.
Working with a lap and a half remaining. Zev Gottschalk has never won a SKUSA Pro Tour main before. Brody Stoffel's got national wins to boot now, and he has become a regular at the forefront, and he's been that way for quite some time. Leo Simone the same. Now Leo is going to work together and push them both by. Gottschalk back to 3rd. Here comes the next group, but they're still battling it out as well. Lockhart currently leads it to Hudson Howard. Side by side for the lead. Leo Simone takes it back. And we run down the long straight again towards 18. Leo will cover the low side. No, he'll go center track. There's room low. He'll try to keep it as tight as he can as Gottschalk gets to open up for the turn. And we see the white flag. 1 to go. Brody Stoffel covering for P2.
Going to cost him time for the battle for the race lead. Trying to go white lining through the curbing. Now trying to do it again in turn 3. Stoffel trying to play aggressive defense, but Gottschalk got the better run. Takes away the inside through 4. Gottschalk takes second spot, but Simone now with a big cushion to try and set sail and try and run away as they rumble their way through 7.
Zev Gottschalk is so good on his own. Let's see how quickly he could try to track down Leo. He had a great job in that one decision going into turn number 7 to take the regular line, realizing he was just far enough ahead of Stoffel that Stoffel couldn't reach him. Now to turn 12 for the final time. Leo Simone's lead down to a car length with a bobble in the middle of the turn.
Will there be a lunge? That's the major question right now. Gottschalk backing up the corner, gets the launch with the shark fin, still stays back a kart length, needs a big close.
Final time. Back to turn 16. Leo Simone a little wide. Here comes Gottschalk with the run. Did he get there too soon? He'll be on the tail as they go down the long straight. Stoffel follows to the high side.
door-to-door contact as they run to 18. Leo Simone will get to the checkers first and score the win. A wild finale in Micro Swift. In the run to the line, Leo Simone, your unofficial race winner. And Brody Stoffel hanging on, watching along, keeping his nose clean, will end up as your unofficial Micro Swift national champion. And on the final lap as well, a change for third and second and first shuffles Zev Gottschalk down to fourth as Dutch Westbrook gets by Joey Zhou for third in the championship, provisionally by only 8 points. And with Lennox Lockhart hanging on for P4, he'll end up with the 2 plate. All unofficial. But what a race and what a finale. Brody Stoffel, your champ. Leo Simone, your unofficial race winner. And a JHDD lockout of the #1 spots.
Absolute fantastic. Yeah? What a move.
Leo Simone able to make it through to the win in Micro Swift. Another main event in the books as we get to the latter half of our lineup for the 2025 SuperKarts USA Pro Tour and the Summer Nationals with a record-setting turnout and a barn burner finish to the 2025 season. We've got still lots of racing on tap. Master Shifter currently down on grid, and if you're looking for your favorite class, well, up next will be KA Senior after them. Then we move on to the X30 Juniors, 2 back-to-back sold-out grids. Mini Swift, 30-plus deep for them, and closing out, batting cleanup on the race day, Pro X30. There's a look again at the running order. All be back-to-back with 5 main events left in the 2025 SuperKarts USA regular season. And the road to Las Vegas continues with the national tour ending with the biggest event in the world, the Super Nationals in November.
Just let this race start first. Welcome back here. And again, what a race from Leo Simone. Leo, what a pass there to get it done. Talk about that race.
Yeah, it was, we just started to push away at the start and we got it. I looked behind and we had a big gap, so I just tried to keep on doing it and pulling away so we could at least secure a podium.
Who would you like to thank for this race victory, Leo?
My mom, my dad, my brother, Jay Howard, Ricard Infinity, and everyone that supported me this weekend.
Well, congratulations and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Next group into drivers now on the racetrack. Now it's the Master Shifters, brought to you once again by RRC as we get set for their respective group to hit the racetrack. A part of the rotation, Tim Hallwell is set to lead them around the racetrack here today for 16 laps. Vernon Musser will start in second spot. Those two set the tone earlier on, but Hallwell has the long run pace. Will it match up, though, with double the lap count to be able to push? Getting ready to look at the rest of the order. John Crow will start in the third position. Larry Pegram will start in P number 4, 672 Kart. 5th goes to Scott Presti. Presti will start alongside Sketchy Barnes. Scott Hargrove starts off in 7th today. Robert Feige start in the 8th spot. Then it's Kevin Woods in 9th. Here's Baldus in 10th. Kirchner behind will start in 11th. Justin Kelly in the 12th position. Cameron Castles in 13th. And Daniel Perez will start in 14th spot. Drivers are waiting. Drivers are ready. Green flag is out. We're underway in Master Shifter.
Great hole shot for Tim Hollowell as Jordan Musser goes to work right off the rip on the tail going down to turn 4. Does he want it? Yes, he does with a cent and a half in contact as Hollowell slams the door shut. Musser climbs the curb. No change there, and now he's got to deal with Larry Pegram, who got another good launch up to P3. Crow 4th. Then right behind Scott Presti, Scott Hargrove. Then it looks to be Robert Feige getting the better of row 4 with Skitchy Barnes. No, Barnes behind Hargrove as a look low isn't successful for Presti there. And we're underway with Master Shifter, 16 laps on the board.
Right now, Sir trying to push his way forward. 616 machine looking for a way to cross up in the shark bin. Not able to get the run looked for yet. Still stays within the kart lane for the time being. As a bad corner exit, Hallwell opens the door through 17. New leader, the 616, moves on through. Crossover for Hallwell, had to back out of it.
Both drivers do not want to have to follow. One talking point that I'm not sure is as big as usual is the dirty air of having to be behind another driver in the high horsepower classes, and the tires getting a little more work by not getting as much cool, clean air and fresh racetrack going right to them. So we've seen it before. Maybe that's the idea here, or maybe it's a matter of not knowing how good your competitor is and trying to take advantage when the tires are cold and the pressures are low. Pegram continuing to stay on the hunt of Hollowell. Musser leads, and we go down to our most recent champion, unofficially in Micro Swift. It's Brody Stoffel. Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. Brody, I want to take you back to the day you got your first national win. You said it was the best day of your life. Does this year, your first national title, top that?
I mean, yeah, this day's even better than when my first national win was. My first national win, I was really excited, but this is way more than a national win. This is a champion.
And I want to talk about the shirt as well. This is your lucky shirt, right? You only wear it, when at the important races. Talk about that. Was this the good luck charm for you this weekend?
Yes, it really was. This shirt is pretty old. I've worn this shirt since Kart. I'm still wearing it, surprisingly. And just the shirt is a good luck charm.
There you go, it definitely worked. Who would you like to thank for making this championship possible for you this year?
I would like to thank Wolger Engines, my family. I'd like to thank Jay Howard, Last Lap Insider, my mechanic Jonathan, Phil Pignantero, and I also like to thank Mia Academy, my sponsorship, and that's pretty much it.
Can't forget about your family either, right?
Yeah, I said my family, I think, but.
There you go, enjoy your championship, Brody.
Thank you.
Nothing happening right now up front, so we take a look further back here. Oh, well, maybe a little too far. How about a move there? That's up the board for 4th. John Crow falling behind Scott Presti, all over him down the backstretch. Not going to answer back yet. Scott Hargrove continues to look on, but they're all a little ways back. How about the improvement here for Larry Pegram, Justin, and the Trinity Karting Group Beer Lart boys in their first year for the Beer Lart brand, the longtime Kart Republic team that put so many white and orange machines up front. Now that honor and that mantle has been taken over with, obviously, success with Brody Stoffel for JHDD. But for Larry Pegram, this is a leap and bound above the pace that he has shown to this point in the weekend.
Yeah, he's done a great job this race, where last time out he kind of fell around the edge of the top 5. Still was a top 10 kart, but seems to have been able to hit something here to find what he needs in the long run. He was able to do well in the pre-final. Also where I noticed a little bit where he was a little bit faster, where he didn't drop back like he did previously compared to where he had been in the qualifying on the Saturday. So right now, Larry Pegram doing exactly what he needs to be doing to be able to try and battle for a podium when it comes to things. After all, he's someone who does have racing experience when it comes to the motorcycling scene in the past, and with over a decade of experience there. Of course, has Riley also that's making her waves as well in her racing career here recently as well.
Yeah, Riley Pegram finished her day in that Pro Shifter main event. She rolled off inside the top half, just barely off the top 25 in the pre-final. There was a lot to dive into in that final, and it ended up being a mano-a-mano fight. Larry Pegram's trying to keep it close to make it 3 deep here. Although as much as we started to give him praise, maybe that's been the curse. He's lost a little ground as Jordan Musser has started to try and pull away and open the throttle up. That PSL Birol Art is now out in front by marking maybe 4/10 over Hollowell and another half second and counting to Pegram. And so we go back into the battle for P4 onwards. Crow's gotten back past Presti, then it's Skitchy Barnes, then Scott Hargrove, Pierce Baldus, Kevin Woods, Robert Fege. In fact, our entire 14-car field still going here at the end of lap number 6, back to Cameron Castles and Krishna Bhatt.
Yeah, so far no attrition here in this one. A clean race, and usually you have some races where attrition can be high sometimes, or you end up having small attrition. This seems to be the small attrition where the whole field wants to do one thing: finish the season out strong. They know this is the finale here today, a part of this campaign. Why not get the performance done before you have to go to Las Vegas in the fall time? Right now, this field very dedicated to be able to just keep running the laps. Skitchy Barnes still in front of Hargrove, mind you, in terms of positioning, seems to be trying to find a way to get around Presti. It's going to be interesting where things may stack up involving the championship points here by the end of the day here, especially with Hargrove's struggles here with the track today.
Yeah, but still, Scott Hargrove, a good day today could all of a sudden leapfrog the championship standings. Entering the weekend, a close fight between himself, Scott Presti, and Skitchy Barnes. And Hargrove and Presti have started to pull a little further away as they currently run. Right now, it would go the way of Scott Hargrove. And for him, this is about building towards the grand finale, the Super Nationals, and making his return to the Pro Shifter category. We just had a 29-year-old race winner and a 33-year-old champion. You can still hang with some of the young bucks if you're willing to put in the work, and that's the idea here, Scott Hargrove, to get back into shifter shape, to get back into the reps, and to carry on with the Italkart brand that will enter Vegas for the very first time as the reigning Pro Shifter champions.
Yeah, it's interesting to say the very least on that mark. There's the pass by Barnes, by the way, to be able to move his way into the top 5. Next up in line is Crow to be able to sort out a way around that machine for the time being. So still looking at the points, still going to be decent as you talked about for Hargrove. Now it's just a matter of making sure there's no technical issues with the cart. Just got to keep it clean now, because right now I don't think Hargrove's going to fall past 7. Because the pattern has been, this has been about where he has been, around 5th to 7th corridor all throughout the weekend. It would take a massive mistake to fall worse. Barnes, he loves to go higher and higher, just made the pass look easy in 4.
And that'll be a little bit of a swing towards the second place spot in this championship, but the downside for, again, Skitchy Barnes, this whole 4-pack, just as you mentioned with Hargrove, hanging around that 4th to 7th region, they've all been in that same boat here to this point in the weekend. No one seems to really have anything to bring the fight to our top 2, Jordan Musser and Tim Hollowell. And for Larry Pegram, he was able to be with them for a little bit. He's still a cut above, or at least was, this group here, but he is getting reeled in. Last time by a little mistake for Larry, gave up a couple tenths to him. Granted, now they've made a pass. That'll change. Skitchy Barnes picking up 4th, maybe picking up 3rd. It would close and put some pressure on Scott Presti for that 2nd spot in the championship. But with where Scott Hargrove currently sits, he's too far ahead of Barnes for Skitchy to keep the number 1 plate on. That plate, sadly, looks to be going elsewhere.
Yeah, right now it seems pretty comfortable for Hargrove. That error pack, by the way, Perez has been able to charge through the field so far from 14th to 8th. So far, a great boost of speed there in regards to that campaign. The live points at the bottom corner of your screen, by the way, would be 51 between Hargrove and Presti. Barnes still needs to close up another 30 so points to have a chance, and that would basically be the race lead at this point.
Yeah, it would need to be a massive swing, but the big variable that you can never account for are the other drivers. Is Tim Hollowell going to be able to get up and mess with Jordan Musser? Would something happen between the two of them and all of a sudden Larry Pegram's your new leader? And then Larry Pegram's pace better in the short run, starting to struggle in the long run. He's slipping back towards that 4-pack here that Barnes is at the helm of. And Scott Hargrove back around Presti now, 6th, even safer in the standings. But if he fades at all and Daniel Porras continues to push forward, that could shift things too. And not to mention the ultimate curveball, the weather, that has absolutely had an impact on the racing and the championships that have been decided so far, and the ones still yet to be decided in the upcoming main events as well. There's still plenty of factors to keep tabs on for us as we run the numbers and watch along to see if Tim Hollowell and Jordan Musser get close or begin to spread apart. Last time by, Tim Hollowell robbed Musser of the fast lap honors, and he closed up, and this lap visually it looks like he's doing much of the same.
Yeah, right now seems to be doing well in that regard. Hollowell needs to keep it up though, have consistent near personal best to be able to keep chipping this gap back away on this long run. He just lost the time right back to Musser by 1/10 of a second. So right now, the benchmark is the 616 is running right now in the 66.8. Anything slower than that, and you're on the back foot right now. That has to be on the mind if you're Hollowell with the Micron possibly to look at there. The rest of the field has been running more so off by a second or two. Larry Pegram actually has fallen to the 108s as of late and might be up for grabs for the podium in the next few laps here if that happens again.
This time by, it'll be 5 laps remaining. And as you mentioned, Musser opened that gap back up. This feels eerily similar to the main event we witnessed yesterday, Justin, where Jordan Musser allowed Tim Hollowell to stay close, but not too close, until the final few laps when he was able to open up the gap and have a little extra left in the tank to put some laps together and make it a cruise to the finish. Now that time by, Hollowell, 200s better, opens the throttle again on the run to turn 4 and closes up to the 616, but only marginally. Some of the best drivers in the world, they'll tell you everything they're watching when they're out there. And you think with the number of gear shifts, with the ability to adjust the brake bias down by your left knee, of course the clutch lever if you ever have to get into a first gear corner or back up behind someone, and the overall focus it takes at the high speed, high G load, and physical requirements to wheel these things at full capacity, no way are they paying attention to anything else. But Jordan Musser there, he could see across the track. He's able to see where Pegram is, where Crow is, where Hargrove is, what's going on in that pack behind, which there is a good bit. And as well, every once in a while, manage and find a way to just keep a consistent lap time that takes care of the equipment and nurses it to the end if he needs to make one last push, which we're seeing a lot of pushing and shoving right here. Hargrove, door to door with John Crow down the back straightaway. Give the position back to Crow. Presti even looking for maybe something in 18.
Presti wanting to be higher than 7th spot right now. Hargrove trying to be in the top 5 at the very least to close out the day on the way to a championship. Tries to get the better run coming out of 3 yet again. Takes the poke, deeper lunge. Will it stick a bit of contact? Utilized a bit of the side pod there to be able to lean on him and pass by Crow. Hargrove retakes the top 5 with a little bit of aggression as Presti thinks about a move, elects to wait as Crow builds up another run.
Yeah, John Crow on the factory Kart 2.0 chassis. Billy Musgrave, he mentioned there the tires were gone in those final few laps. He was trying to just manage that main event, but he definitely didn't look as strong. He said in his presser yesterday, this track, it does weird things when you get a whole lot of rubber down and the heat comes up. And he was waiting for the track to get a little bit weirder for the kart to go to life. And it looked good at the end of the day yesterday after the rain. It looked good in the morning. It didn't look spectacular in that main event, but who knows how much he may have been holding back. But John Crow has won here before. He knows what he needs. He enjoyed the go-kart and has stayed on the new frame, but it doesn't quite look like he's got, again, enough to match not just the top two, but maybe even the run to the podium, which is closing a little. Lap by lap, Skitchy Barnes inching towards Larry Pegram, now down to 2.5 away. And again, the top 2 steps still yet to be decided. Tim Hollowell keeping it just enough to be interesting up front here, 4/10 away.
Yeah, still keeping close right now. Hollowell last time by did close up a couple 100ths of a second and still has the personal best lap time out of the 2. Musser still making sure the tires don't get roasted here as this run comes to a close here in a couple laps time. Right now, Hollowell doesn't seem to be able to get the draft together right now to close up this gap. Still stays 3-4 kart lengths back, 3/10 last time by the stripe yet again. Only a couple hundreds closed up yet again. Hollowell wouldn't get there in time unless he gets another 10th or so a lap close up. He's not going to get there.
Yeah, he still needs a mistake, a rare one from Jordan Musser. Granted, you're watching Musser go a little bit more narrow in certain corners like turn 7, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a defensive line with the extra power and gear range that the shifter drivers have. You can take alternate lines to shorten the track and focus more about exit velocity by straightening those front tires out than you would in a regular single-speed kart like the rest of the divisions to go with a wide arc. And, of course, that will work the tires a little less because you're dropping the minimum speed down and you're loading them up a little bit shorter of a time. Hollowell, though, the question is not about management. This is find anything you can get to look for a way to get to Musser's bumper and to try and send a move. They've been respectful. They were aggressive early. And now it's back up to 4/10 as Jordan has found a little more on that last lap, a 10th improvement.
Right now at this point, Musser is doing exactly what he needs to get the weekend sweep. Just has to make sure nothing goes offline. No major slides, no major mistakes, no major risk. Staying out of the marbles. Right now, Musser doing exactly what you expect him to do with the veteran presence right now that he has indicated. He's been one of the fastest drivers overall in this chassis for the shifter here for the Burrell Arts, and now is ready to be able to close out this checker flag.
Hollowell still won't give up. A deep send there in 14, trying to give it one last heave. But Jordan Musser knows what he needs to do now, and that's just make it through one more straightaway and one more break zone. Hollowell is going to get all the way down to a couple car lengths, but it won't be enough. A sweep of the mains and a near perfect weekend. Jordan Musser dominates the Summer Nats. PSL Karting may not be able to extend the 3-race streak as Skitchy Barnes just stole 3rd away from Larry Pegram on the final turn. How about that? Scott Hargrove still able to finish in 5th. Will be enough for the championship. Presti down to 7th. That would hurt his hopes a little, but I think he'll still be okay for the 2 plate for 2025, and Barnes will trade out the 1 for a 3 over Pegram with a last lap move and a trophy to boot here in the 15 driver shifter master division. Jordan Musser, Tim Hollowell over Skitchy Barnes. Your top 3 in a finale here with a battle up front and a battle for that final step that went down to the wire. Now that's, of course, master shifter Scott Hargrove, by our math, clinching it both with and without the drops with his solid season. And he'll take that momentum into the Super Nats as he eyes up pro shifter. Let's look at how those that class specifically wrapped itself up. Pro shifter, of course, this year with a whole lot on the line. You saw that in the main. And with Billy Musgrave managing that race, finishing in the top 10, he's able to do what he hadn't been able to do yet in his 33 years of being all around the sport and building a go-kart, winning the Supernats 5 times over, winning major races. He'd never climbed the mountain of a Pro Tour championship. He does it in the most competitive season to date. Over AJ Myers will get a 2-plate to replace the 3 for 2026. Mateus Morgado will end up 3rd. Josh Conker 4th, and look how close it was. Kyle Wick, Irwin 6th. Bailiff, Quarantine Russo into the Champions Fund, into the top 10. And we'll cover more of it throughout the day, as well as some other updates to go. But it's KA Senior action. 48 on the entry list, sold out. Caleb's got some intel for us.
Thank you, Xander. Spoke to the Velocity Racing Sodies. A couple of changes for them overnight. ZCD, an engine change for him. He's skyrocketed himself up to the front. And for Colin Lloyd, looking for a little bit of speed. He's found that with a seat position change. They moved that seat a little bit further back. And I'll let you dive into that, Xander.
Interesting, Caleb, and appreciate again all the hard work through all the conditions here for Caleb Vieska, Hunter Bolton down on pit lane, getting us all the angles, all the advice and insight that we wouldn't get from just watching along here from the booth. Diego Ramos and Colin Lloyd on your front row here for this KA Senior main with a plethora of names behind them, quite a few big ones, and they're already working their way out of that final turn, getting set to go green. Keep your eye on some of the championship runner-up contenders. We'll cover them when this race gets rolling. 16 laps, KA Senior main event. They're already nearly full throttle, but they've got to wait for the green flag. And here we go. Round 6 of the Pro Tour is underway. Another great start for Diego Ramos as James Overbeck and Chase Cassiat Lee end up a little bit in the dirt out of turn number 2. And now as they run down to 4, look at the velocity. Sodi's up to 2nd and 3rd. As Caleb mentioned, they've definitely been making strides. And now it's ZCD P3, Lloyd P2, Hodgson 4th, and a mad scramble to get any spot you can further down the field. We'll see how they stack up when we get back around to the timing loop. But somehow, some way, it looks like, from what we can tell, everyone has survived the first half a lap. And it's Diego Ramos back out in front again as they fight behind. Look at Paulie Massimino getting the elbows out. He'll send Mick Gabriel back 2 spots with a big send down the inside.
Yeah, some people getting the elbows out, like Bernardo as well, in the mix of that. So far, so strong in the kaleidoscope of colors and paint schemes in this field. We know Ramos has the ability to just take off and run away from the rest of this pack. Looking like he's just trying to keep his head down as Lloyd tries to keep up. ZCD in the top 3, looking to stay there. We know ZCD has the ability to pass by all these karts if he wants to with his experience. Stays in the popcorn seat, 5 kart breakaway up front.
Oliver Hodgson, and even equally, if not arguably more decorated resume to match DeMello's and Donovan Bonilla. Even though he's got a few less years and hopefully no gray hairs yet, the youngster's already a Pro X30 Super Nationals champion from 2023 and a multiple-time race winner. He's watching along behind there in 5th as Hodgson goes by DeMello, gets a little tap on the exit, knocks him out of shape, a little miscue, and now DeMello sends it right back in on Ollie. They'll go back and forth. Hodgson with a clear over-under, gets back in front again to the shark fin. And Bonilla now with more company behind, watching those two go at it. It's a BJR duo of Luque and Massimino. And further back, their teammate James Overbeck, trail in from Brandon Lemke. Dalton Haynes following as they freight train Jose Carlos Hernandez. And the Ursuline machine drops back 3 spots. Here's up the road, Eli Warren and crew with Pernod. That's end of the top 10. This is just outside of it, to show you how competitive this division has been this weekend. A stacked field, so many double-duty drivers like Ruben Moya, who's always exciting. He ends up making the move and getting a spot and sending, unfortunately, Jose Carlos down the board quite a few spots as he fell off the end of the road there at turn 2.
Oh, we got a new leader. Change up front as they battle behind. Colin Lloyd takes over. Ramos, for the first time this weekend, is on the back foot as he rides in third.
Yeah, now Lloyd already under attack. Hodgson amongst the drivers that's looked strong all season long, picking the right time to battle, but Ramos wants his spots back, pokes back on inside, ends up taking ZCD with him to be able to move back into the top 3. Bernard able to hold off a swing now from Warren in the heart of the field. Meanwhile, all sorts of back and forth as everybody tries to attack those red cards.
Down the inside and through, Eli Warren trying to maximize the weekend here that kicked off with an impressive P2 qualifying effort, just hundredths off the pole, but set by Diego Ramos. After that, having to go to the outside lane in the pre-final, he couldn't quite recover to the top couple spots to end yesterday with some hardware and a cash prize to boot. You heard from Alexander Vanchev, it's not just the pros that get paid. Any class up and over 30 entries gets an extra boost to the prizes. $1,000 to win, $500 to second, and $250 to third. Colin Lloyd would love an extra $1,000 to bring home to Miami, Florida, but first, he's got to find a way back to the lead because Ramos is ready and out in front again. DeMello to second, Hodgson to third. ZCD has not stood on the top step of a SuperKarts USA event since he won the Super Nationals nearly a full decade ago. Oliver Hodgson back and forth, under fire, Bonilla to the inside, and on by.
Still not done though, 2x2 battling as Massimino able to slip on through. Gabriel elects to go back single file, doesn't force the issue.
Now and up, old problems, Timothy Pernod down the into the grass. Timothy Pernod with a problem here late in this main. Well, early I should say, flip the script. We're only again at lap number 4. It feels late because there's already been so much movement, and I don't think it's gonna stop. Look at Fernando Luque, he had a look to the inside of Gabriel, wasn't there in 2. Paulie Massimino, little bobble in 3. He's gonna be vulnerable if Bonilla wants to go, but they're gonna stay patient. Oh, Brandon Lemke tried to get to the inside of Luque, didn't work, he got bogged down, he'll lose a spot or 2. All kinds of changes now as Oliver Hodgson sends it on the inside of Bonilla. He'll send him back behind Gabriel.
Yeah, everybody doesn't want to stay put right now. A lot of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Just trying to make sure they keep on moving forward here. Bonilla has been bounced around a fair bit here today. So far, maintaining in this race at least. Here we know Eli Warren's now going off too, as they now try and settle on down. Warren had been running in the 10th position, has now fallen down the pylon as a result as these drivers continue to have attrition build up in spot after spot. Overbeck attacking Lemke. He now wants some top 10 spots. Oh wow, Massimino falls right behind Hodgson yet again in the order. Hodgson able to move back up to the 4th position.
Aiden Levy with a move down the inside of Brandon Lemke. That spot now will be another one forward for the SCR Carlos Sainz driver, just to get back to where he was a couple laps ago at this turn. But Levy hanging on, actually still in front, over back there, and then here's a look further back, way back. Gassiet Lee, Cooper O'Clair, a couple of young guns going at it as Lemke gets the move done in the cell tower on Levy.
Yeah, that area today has been very good for passing. Not as active as some areas, but I know that's been a circled area for a lot of sends for these drivers. One of the main 3 attacking areas all throughout this weekend. Right now, the 990 doing a great job keeping up. That's Aiden Levy, you mentioned him, just maintaining and cruising. Bonilla getting the elbows out yet again. Now Massimino falls yet another spot down the pylon as they continue to see those drivers shuffle here in this order. Ramos still holds on to the lead, mind you, up at the front of the field. He's right now got CCDs building up. And
we've got some reports here of some raindrops starting to fall. We're not yet to halfway. They let the Pro X30s race in heavy rain yesterday, and if it is indeed starting to get a little bit wet and wild, or if it does begin further, well, that could shift things. We've kept the eye on the radar. There's a very small cell
that could be headed our way. You can see visually a little bit darker of a picture here now than what was earlier in the day. Diego Ramos, no issues with it though. The gap continues to open up. If anything, he's looked even better now with the sun going behind the clouds, pulling back out the gap from DeMello. Then Hodgson, then Lloyd, Gabriel still 5th, Bonilla 6th. And then it's Massimino and Moya and Haynes and Overbeck and crew that have probably changed a spot or two in this long line of go-karts that you could really mark the end off at Aiden Levy, who is still having a very impressive day, even though it's back in the 12th position. It actually might be a little higher now behind James Overbeck. But a great return to the seat after a more than year high, or just about full year hiatus.
This has been an impressive race overall for this entire field right now as we're approaching halfway next time by. CCD making some adjustments, it looks like, to the carburetor to make sure some tweaks on the kart. Still, though, as they continue to roll, some of the others, like we've seen, that have been quietly making their way through. Haynes doing a solid job this race. Not the greatest of luck in his Pro Shifter debut here this weekend, but here in this class today, at least in K100 Senior, looking to finish strong, try and get a top 10, be able to have something to build momentum for the rest of the summertime.
This time by, it'll be halfway. That'll make the race official, and with the option, and I would have to imagine it may be taken to end it early. We'll have to wait and see. We know the championship's already on lock for Diego Ramos. We'll be working on getting you the overall standings of where the rest of the field may end up here with the 2 and the 3 plates still up for grabs. Oliver Hodgson entered the weekend with a shot at the title. Not the best Saturday for him, ending up just at the outside edge of the top 10 when the dust settled. But now he's up to the bumper of Zachary Clayman DeMello. Last time by, a lot faster than the leader, and with a little gap out back. Let's see if DeMello is going to play the long game here and try to let Hodgson get through painlessly to bring the race leader back to him, or no, he'll defend low instead. A block move there in turn 7 keeps Hodgson at bay for now, but Oliver Hodgson has some of the sneakiest racecraft you'll see. Keep your eyes peeled for the Comp Kart Factory driver to make some magic happen here as they work their way through turn 10. The sprinkles continue. The lap times have yet to start to increase.
Yeah, if anything, right now, there's only been, for some drivers, maybe a tenth of a second to fall off. Still setting personal best lap times right now, so whatever sprinkles are out there aren't affecting the times at all and aren't affecting the grip levels right now. If it gets pretty hard out there like yesterday, could get wild yet again. It might be one of those crazy finishes yet again for this style of racing. Right now, Lemke able to hold on in front of Hayes, meanwhile, amongst the top 10. Hearing that rain's picked up on the grid, though, so it is starting to get harder and harder and harder.
Hodgson this time decisive down into turn number 3, and now the rain has really picked up. You're seeing the drivers start to use the inside curbing. Diego Ramos in a very uncomfortable place by himself. First one to each corner. No reference points. Hodgson already starting to move further away from DeMello, and we should see the lap time start to fade. What's important about that as well when you think about the points is if the racetrack never recovers before the end. Oliver Hodgson currently has the fastest lap, and look at them all sideways and out of shape. This will get hairy down in turn number 12. Side by side, back at the edge of the top 5. Bonilla and Moya along with DeMello as Hodgson drives away, and it'll be Ruben Moya moving by the pair.
Remember that race yesterday when everybody went off with the rain? I think we might have a similar situation if it ends up getting any harder than what it is right now. Everybody's starting to cover themselves up as the weather conditions start to build up. Some drivers in the back of the field not having a fun time. Others, like Moya, under attack.
Look at how wet it is already down here by turn number 1. Diego Ramos having a tiptoe now, just as he did in the Pro X30 main event. The rain is here, and off goes DeMello out of 3rd. Ruben Moya put his hand up down the straightaway to let him know he's going to be braking early. And here we go again, boys and girls. KA Senior this time is the class that gets selected by the weather to all of a sudden at the halfway mark throwing a massive, massive shift. Ramos trying to find where it's dry. It looks still pretty dry back there in turn number 7. Still very tricky though on the near side of the racetrack as he'll crest the hill and get back into the damp surface. You can see the visually darkening of the racetrack, and Ramos is trying to manage this one. He's got just 5 laps left this time by, and only half the track right now is getting the rain. It's staying by the main buildings and garages, the far end by the cell tower, and the I-70 hairpin has still yet to get the rain.
And this is where adaptability is key now. This could change in the next minute though, depending on how the clouds form up and change. See them now having to use the outside through 16. Ramos still being able to pick up a gap now as this now continues. Hodgson making some adjustments previously. Moya's been charging this lap though. He was amongst those who did not have a fun top of the rain last time in that other class. This one, a lot better so far. Able to know what to plan for with the slicks as he drives around the puddles starting to form up on the inside. Absolutely being pelted now.
Yeah, you can see it coming down. And that's a great point, Justin. How about it for Oliver Hodgson? He is the only driver in the top 5 that was not on the racetrack in Pro X30, the only non-double duty entrant. In fact, it's got to go back to Brandon Lemke now for the next driver that had yet to see this surface like this. The rest of them, they have experience. They know exactly what they needed to do and what they cannot afford to do. And that's what you're seeing with Diego Ramos. The only saving grace here for Hodgson is he's got Ramos still well within his sights and is able to mimic him and try to just inch a little bit deeper, carry a little more speed, go a little bit where he isn't. But again, you go over that line and you will high side like he did there on the curbing. And that exit curbing, the divots in it, will hold a ton of water, and that will stay for a good length and good portion of the day. So, Oliver Hodgson, where can you find the extra time to catch Diego Ramos?
That is a great question right now, and at this point, with his lap times, it's the matter of basically driver experience where you're going to gain the time. It's about how you actually hit this track as a competitor. He's going to have to avoid a lot of marble buildup. That's the tough thing. That line is so thin along the outside right now where these drivers try to run. Big pile up in the background.
Yeah, turn 12's already got a few victims now. You're starting to see some different names go up and down the leaderboard. 16th on the grid, 13 spots gained for Ruben Moya. And mastering the wet today. Hodgson starting to get experimental again in the horseshoe, trying to find a little more. As now they work their way out of the cell tower with a little gap back to Bonilla, as DeMello is going to have to deal with Paulie Massimino for the final spot in the top 5.
Right now, just trying to make sure they finish up the race. So far, this run, 20 seconds off the fast times after setting personal best the lap before the rain started pelting down. A massive swing of time, but that's to be expected when you can't even run the racing groove. A bit of a slide for ZCD. He did not look happy there with the Kart. Massimino ran into the puddles, made the pass. Now it's a crossover battle in some of the divots as ZCD runs the curbing, tries to park in front of Massimino does.
Oh, and what do you do on grid for X30 Junior? Looking at this, there's still no major standing water. This is such a small cell that already you're seeing still plenty of drivers be able to manage dry conditions enough that if the rain stays, well, yes, right now, wets are better. They're 20 seconds off the fast lap times in the dry. But it could dry very quickly with a bit of sun. Ramos, Hodgson, Moya having to hang on to the finish here. The race is now getting shortened for the remaining mains, or adjusted, I should say, to be the same time distance. It'll all be 16 minutes plus a lap to match the original estimation of 16 dry laps. These boys and girls in KA Senior, they're going to get a few extra moments on the circuit. Oliver Hodgson trying to maximize those. He's found a comfort zone. He's found a little more speed than Ramos. He's knocking on the door.
Now it's the question, where does he make the pass? How does he make the pass without going through all the rain puddles? Right now, so many of the main opportunities here, Xander, you can't really take them without risking sliding your kart off the racetrack.
Yeah.
So this is now the game of, can you pressurize a mistake? We've seen Massimino make some moves in some of those areas, but it's easier said than done because of how much the rear grip is not there right now.
And again, Oliver Hodgson, as he sends it deep to the high side in turn 16, now looks down, and I bet you he's looking at the delta, the lap time estimator that you can program onto the data gauge as well to try and see if that was better or worse, as they all go way deep down into turn number 18. 2 to go now. 2 laps remaining here in this 16-lap main for KA Senior, presented by Nash Motorsports. A three-way fight in the rain, which has now caused a frenzy on grid as well. As DeMello drops down the board, Massimino also. Those two must have gotten together. ZCD has not found a spot across the loop. As we look at the lap times, they're starting to pick back up. They're finding grip again, figuring things out, moving lower on the circuit. Are we going to be in a hybrid race? And the guessing game for X30 Junior continues, as now from a 1:33 back down to a 1:30 we go on the slick tires. Ramos, a little bobble there. Here comes Hodgson. A lap and a half to go, and he's got a nose on the inside. Moya trying to follow. He'll send it around both of them with a slide job. Ramos back to the lead.
Oh my goodness, another slip and slide, and that's what I was talking about. No grip in that section. At that point, Ramos just had to drive the normal racing line and let the others just slide their way off the groove. Ramos with a massive cushion, his largest cushion in a while now in this race, with about a lap to go. Moya pushing hard to try and get back up there.
We'll continue to keep tabs on that moment. What a send by Ruben Moya. He laid it all on the line there, and it still got him one spot out of the move. White flag now, 1 to go. Ruben Moya becomes the attacker on Diego Ramos. Here's a look at it. Sending it, locked the brakes up, and instead of making contact or punting Hodgson off, he made the heads-up call to just go down the inside on both of them, and a really heads-up play as well by Oliver Hodgson to bail out of the line and give way to Moya. Both drivers surviving, staying on the box, staying in the prize package. For Diego Ramos, though, the lead is now comfortable enough. If it were dry, he's still got to survive to the end.
Still has to make sure he doesn't have many major wiggles. He had a bit of a wiggle right there. Still, big cushion as they rumble their way off to 12. Major send. Moya sends himself into the grass.
Ruben Moya laid it all on the line last lap. He sent the slider again. This time, Ramos heard him, backed up the corner, was ready for it, and Moya even still overcooked it slightly. He'll fall to third, but with the gap out back, he'll still end up on the podium. Oliver Hodgson is still digging. There's still the chance of one final mistake, one final heave down the straightaway. But can Diego Ramos do it? On the weekend, he clinched his first title. He'll sweep it all with the win on Sunday.
Wow, the rain yet again coming in to spice things up, but Ramos yet again showcases why all season he's been fast. This weekend, he's been near dominant in these finals to be able to come away with some wins for that 921 plate.
And as well, with Diego Ramos headed for the pit lane now and into the scale house to celebrate, much more changes on that final lap around. Ruben Moya able to still cross the line third. Brandon Lemke ends up fourth. Dalton Haynes fifth. Paulie Massimino, Donovan Bonilla, James Overbeck, Connor Ferris, and Aiden Levy, your top 10. one final look here at KA100 Senior Championship standings. Diego Ramos, first career championship in the regular season, and it comes in his first bid at the KA Senior title. James Overbeck, with a valiant effort on Sunday, will keep a top 3 plate on the go-kart for 2026. And the reigning champ ends up just behind Oliver Hodgson with another impressive drive and another podium effort for the Comp Kart crew. Bonilla, Massimino into the top 5, missing out on round 1 entirely, rounds 1 and 2. So only 4 rounds counting for Paulie Massimino. He ends up 5th in the championship. Lemke, Moya, Eli Warren, Fernando Luque, and Henry Wheeler, your top 10 from KA Senior, unofficially, of course, with still lots to be decided. Following that, I'm sure there were plenty of incidental contact and maybe a little more that could trigger the eye of the officials when you get conditions like this. X30 Junior's a frenzy as well. Who knows what's next in store with the weather again continuing to stay dark and cover the track. If nothing else, it's definitely cooled the temps down, and that will factor into the setup for the ladder classes coming up, Pro X30 and Mini Swift. But for X30 Junior, what do you do? Well, we'll get to that. Let's go down to our champ and double main event winner, Diego Ramos.
Yeah, thank you there, Xander. Today, it seemed like it was a lot harder to get the win than it was yesterday. Talk about that race there, Diego.
Yeah, 100%. Tree condition. Yeah, being the first one there was really hard because you never know where you need to brake. But I just trust in the equipment that I had, and yeah, I just drove. I saw they were catching me a bit. I just kept calm and yeah, win again.
Did the rain in X30 Pro yesterday help you out at all in that KA Senior main event there?
Yeah, 100%. I know yesterday I did a mistake that I drove off track, and then in my head, when it started raining, I was just like, don't make the same mistake. And yeah, I always love to drive in that condition. And yeah, really happy to win both days, and we still have one more to go.
Are you hoping to see more of the same conditions in X30 Pro?
I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going to be faster in the dry. But I mean, if it starts raining, we're just going to try to do the same.
Thank you, Diego.
Thank you.
Diego Ramos, the congratulations, like he said, they've got to wait a little bit. He still has another race to run. Pro X30 coming up, bat and cleanup on our lineup. 3 more races still remain in the 2025 SuperKarts USA Pro Tour. X30 Junior, Mini Swift, and Pro X30. Championship still to be decided. Junior with a decent gap, and Mini in Pro X30. Well, they'll be close. We'll get to it all on the other side of the break.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this branding business, okay? Branding this, branding that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats, they got MXCs. And if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental US over $200, that's free shipping.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there?
Dude, I'm doing a commercial.
Dude, we have no time. It's about to start.
Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR?
MXC rims.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney, Turney in the dirt.
Florida kart racers, you asked for it and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Paulie Massimino wins.
Oliver, we were just talking off the air there, right? It was better than yesterday in that race, finished on the podium, but I know not what you wanted. You come here to win. Just talk about that race because it looked like a tricky one.
Yeah, it was, I think to begin with, obviously I think everyone's in their brain, everyone's like, oh, we're going to have to work together to be on Ramos, and I think maybe I was just surprised there with how much speed we had. So, you know, knowing those cards, I would have probably been way more aggressive to get on him. I'd have loved to have seen actually how it played out in full dry because we had a really good car under us for that final. And yeah, a little bit disappointed not to get it in the rain there. Yeah, if I look back, I think a little bit, I would say clumsy / could have made a better choice when I got up to Ramos of how we did that when Moyo was right on my bumper. But nevertheless, really exciting race. I mean, I love driving the kart in the rain on slicks, so it's the most fun I've had in the kart for a while.
And again, this was your first full SKUSA Pro Tour in quite some time, right? Would you say it's been a successful year for you guys at Kart?
Yeah, I mean, we've done, I think most events we've gone to, we've done really well. Actually, I'm happy we ended this round like we did. We've had a little bit of fluctuation in the SKUSA rounds. I guess sometimes that's how it goes. Really proud of the effort the team put in this weekend because I think we just come with a few little details off between how me and the kart were gelled up, and then normally you don't recover from that. So proud that we showed good speed in the full dry conditions there to finish off the weekend.
Well, congrats on the podium nonetheless, Oliver.
Engines fired now as the rain continues to just wet the surface enough here for your X30 Juniors. We are getting set to go green for the next main event on the day. This one, 16 minutes plus 1 lap. More or less, that had put us at around a 13 or 14 lap feature, maybe 15, but we'll have to wait and see how it unfolds. Here's a look at how, well, in a moment, when the session changes over, how they will line up, waiting on race control to get us ready to go straight to the next one. And here we are, with a spin for William Vitor. 713 goes around.
And not what you want to see there, but Max Weiland is doing what you want to see if you're a fan of him. Control things up at the front. Travis Pettit alongside, then it's Halpin and Vanchev amongst your top 4 as the field is already quickly coming to the start.
Alexander Vanchev here has this one pretty locked and loaded, barring anything catastrophic, but he still would love to end it off with a massive performance. We'll have to wait and see what he can do to pull it off here in these tricky conditions for the X30 Juniors as we watch the wet tires now on the go-kart. 16 minutes on the clock. The final X30 Junior main event of 2025 is gearing up and ready to go. Max Weiland has command, and it's another slow start that he'll bring everyone down to the blue start cones. But with the main event on deck, we've got it and we're racing.
A little bit of chaos for third on back as everyone tries to figure out where's the dry line, where's the working line, where's the outside to be able to work our way out of the wet stuff. No one's been able to really sort stuff out. Vanchev still trying to hold on to his respective line as many of the drivers just trying to take the curbing to be able to go to some of the safety of where they normally would run on their patterns.
Yeah, this is going to be, again, a changing and moving target session that if it goes the full distance and the rain stops around the halfway point, they could be really struggling to keep the tires cool. For now, the rain is definitely here, and Max Weiland dominant in the dry, already with a little gap here in the wet, as here goes Nico Katowski, battling once again with Travis Pettit. These two have been at the front in both classes all weekend, and young Nico setting up an over-under in the shark fin. He'll get it done. 3 off already in 12, and there's more joining him. It's a yard sale outside, right by the fireworks zone on the straightaway. And here's a look. The smallest of green specks right around us, south of Muncie, just about north of the P&O in Indianapolis on the map there.
That's where we are. That's the size of the showers that have popped up and hit us. And it could stay for another 10 minutes. It could instantly dissipate. Who knows what will happen. For now, it is definitely wet, and they are slipping and sliding.
The grip and make sure they aren't running where the rubber's at in some of these corners right now, especially where there's high speed. Right now, Gibson trying to maintain his line. Now getting poked underneath. Bottom still working in some areas. Murphy making the move pretty easily to the inside that time, where normally a couple minutes ago in the last race, people were trying to avoid that inside line as much as possible here. And more sends now continue for parts of this field.
Alexander Vanchev following him now as he's closed up to Katowski. Travis Pettit slipping backwards. Look at Max Weiland high and low and looking for grip anywhere that he can. He will end up with Katowski close, but got a better launch out of the shark fin, and now Vanchev gets ready to put the heat on the TKG Bureau Art driver. He'll send it down the inside. Crossover from Nico. Not quite. He'll have to surrender second. It's Vanchev now up to P2.
Vanchev, nice move, and now has to be able to try and close up to be able to rejoin the rest of these drivers in the fight. Max Weiland just trying to take off as far as possible here. He has been lightning fast here today. And now Vanchev trying to test the waters here. See if the bottom of the racetrack's working, going a little bit lower. Still some puddles in the inside of 3. Will keep him away from there. So at this point, Vanchev is trying to be one of those to dry out that inside line, to try and run those laps down there and get comfortable before everybody else, so he can find some little advantages to get up to the 720.
A perfect dry performance for Travis Pettit now. He seems to be struggling a little bit early in the going here in the X30 Junior conditions. Tristan Murphy has now passed him for that 4th position. That's important because Pettit actually finds himself battling with Ashton Woon for 3rd in the championship. 2nd in the title fight's Weiland, but 1st in the points lead, and now gunning for 1st on the racetrack is Vanchev, and a back and forth move there. Keeps Weiland out front, but only for the moment. Here we go into turn 13, 14, 15, back and forth as they go. Katowski gets closer, but Vanchev completes the pass.
Able to park the bus, and now testing the inside. Oh, hit the curbing, cost him some ground. Max Weiland, though, not able to get the run he was looking for a quarter exit quite yet, but will still get it down the straightaway up to 18. Hold serve for the Magic Kart as, hello, Nico Katowski giving a little love tap to join the fight.
Well, the difference, too, you'll see a lot of inside drivers use the curbing, like there in turn 2, Justin. Oh, no, contact Katowski into the side of Weiland. Both of them sliding into each other, and Vanchev gets away with the lead. When I was going to say that the alternate line, if the outside isn't maybe the best or you need to try something, is to go nice and low and use the curbing to rotate the go-kart, because you're not going to have the bite in the grip that you would in the dry, so you let the outside front tire really dig in and lift the inside rear up. So instead, you'll physically jack the kart onto 3 tires or 2, up and over. And look at all the 2 and 3 wide action. Again, just like a slick track, a dirt track, if you will, with high and low moves. And it's only going to get more interesting when they eventually opt for dry tires, whether that's next up in Mini Swift or following that with Pro X30. This track will be vastly different than the last time they saw it. Mind you, again, the X30 Juniors, they were in before the rain yesterday as one's off, way off, down at turn 12. Right at the back of this group we're following here, Sarah Bradley in the 785. Let's take a look at that moment again. Vanchev low, Weiland gives way, sets up to line up behind him, and Katowski trying to follow Vanchev through, just overcooks it a little and pops the right front.
Vanchev actually slid and hit a bit of the grass too in that sequence as they drifted across the racetrack there. It was a very tough situation. Try to use the curbing that time to get the rotation down, as you're emphasizing there. But at this point, Vanchev is starting to take off and away. Bradley's still doing a decent job in this run in their respective pack right now, as everybody else just tries to get in a line and sort themselves out here. A lot of separation building up in the back part of the racetrack. Big cluster starting to build up here around the edges of the top 10 as some of these drivers start to get close to each other in some of these fights, like Gibson and company.
Yellow flags further back. That's all the way up the hill, I believe, at turn 16. The leaders will get there here in a few moments. We'll see if it gets cleared out. It looks like one driver was able to get back going from it, but that could mean potential lap traffic to be flagged off the circuit. Look at Tristan Murphy. That Ryan Perry Motorsports now shot up to second on this lap, past both Katowski and Weiland. He is on slicks. Tristan Murphy with the ultimate gamble. And the Ryan Perry Motorsport driver was a second faster than everyone last time around as he tries to manage the surface and the changing conditions. This is the risk they wanted to take and hope would pay off. And now he might be able to steal one as we're still only to the halfway mark.
And I'm curious now what surface Vanchev's on. It looks like the treads, I believe, if I looked at that correctly. So this could get interesting now that the track's drying out here. Murphy trying to find a way to close up rapidly in the midst of this grouping. Right now, 1 second the gap. The speeds, mind you, have picked up to their personal best. So this track is starting to dry out. The sunshine is now poking its way through pretty quickly here for many of these competitors. Nico Katowski now holding back Helpin. Helpin jumps his way to the inside. A little bit of a rub and a scuff. Weiland tries to cross over the 736 as Helpin goes back in line behind Katowski. And now side by side again. Not a good run to the shark fin for the 792. And that 736 is able to slip its way on through once again.
Got a split decision down the field. Tristan Murphy trying to make him work right now. And of course, Alexander Vanchev doing everything he can on the wets, but the sun is shining. This track's going to dry in a hurry. Look at Tyrone Kemper Jr. Another potential gamble on the slick tires. Maybe we'll have to keep our eyes peeled to look for the differences. Alexander Vanchev still is, for the moment, able to at least match the pace, but we're getting to that crossover point. Jose Halfen, indeed, slick of Vinco Blues.
Yeah, now this is now to the point where it's like squint and look at the tire compound and see who's fast and who's dropping like a stone here. Rocco Simone, mind you, has gone up 22 spots. I'm going to take a wild guess and figure out what that may be on that compound to go Simone to gain that many spots so far through the field. That is a rocket ship. Then you have Palacio that's kind of nosedive 24 spots through the field on the pylon. So a lot of these drivers, some of them went for the fences and hit a home run. Some of them hit one off the roof of what would be the Tropicana field and ended up getting a fly ball that was caught in the infield instead.
This time by 6 minutes plus a lap to go. Tristan Murphy trying to hunt down Vanchev. Got to give a huge kudos here to Alexander Vanchev for mastering it all right now. He's still keeping the gap back. This is really interesting to watch along with Vanchev on the wets.
Yeah, squinting to make sure on the exact compound still to make sure, but he's still maintaining at the moment right now with that speed. It's going to be hard to close up to him because Vanchev has the raw talent and speed in the first place to be able to pull off in a way like this. It's going to be interesting, to say the very least, to see if there's any more close up for Murphy, as Murphy has kind of plateaued and equalized out to that 796 machine.
Yeah, it's so tough to tell for Vanchev. I'd say, if anything, if he is on the wets, which it looked like he was earlier, those are burnt to a crisp now and just about slicks. They probably tried to air them as low as they could and told Alexander to manage it and be ready for this potentially to happen, the crossover point when the slicks would get faster. And now Tristan Murphy, even Jose Halfen's closing in. Big run for Halfen. Is Murphy on the wets? I believe he may be if the closing rate's like that. No, it looks like slicks indeed. So second and third, slicks, wets for the leader. Wets for Murphy, sorry. Wets for Tristan Murphy, slicks for Halfen. No, wets for Halfen as well. We're still waiting on those slick tires. So they are on different, obviously, setups, and that's where you're seeing a lot of the variance. Trying to look back for who may have been the driver to gamble on the slick tires, because there had to have been some. Maybe Rocco Simone from 32nd. How about Nate Golstead? Maybe he took a risk. 23rd, up to 7th now.
And I believe Simone, fastest on the racetrack, that was the crossover. So we were a little bit off there trying to ID who we had. It was Murphy, Halpin, Vanchev, Kemper Jr. and Weiland mastering the wet tires. And now, with 4 minutes plus a lap to go, it appears that we're getting the sun back out, the surface beginning to dry, and those slicks starting to pay off. And you'll see that visually on the straightaways alone. Here's Nate Golseth leading the crew. Back to Simone there on the JHCD Kart Republic.
Yeah, right now the pressure is on for Murphy. Here's the send. Halpin sends it up the inside. Able to slip through 16, move his way up to second spot. And now the charge is on to try and see if the 736 has enough speed to get to Vanchev. Vanchev already trying to break some toe right now down the straightaway. Down to less than 3.5 minutes to work with on the clock.
Yeah, these rain tires are scorched. You saw Vanchev, it wasn't about the draft. He was trying to go to the damper part of the surface to keep the tires cool, maybe splash a little water on them. There's no more water left. There's a full dry line here. And for Alexander Vanchev, the extra strategy option was to go to used wet tires. So not a sticker set, but a little bit broken in. The closest thing you can find to a karting intermediate. And it is working for him. Jose Halpin back still second. Tristan Murphy third. Lucas Palacio just went fastest overall on slick tires, but he's pretty far back on the grid as he started seventh. And the gamble for Palacio has watched him fade, but now he's 3 to 4 seconds a lap faster. They're going to have about 4 more laps around, but he's way back on the field, so he'll need to carve up quickly to try and get forward. Let's see what he can do this lap. And again, Rocco Simone, we believe he may still be on the wets as well. We were looking back to see who might be it. Judging the lap times, the only one that really stands out as an outlier would be all the way back to Palacio, but we've got a challenge for the lead amongst the wet tire competitors. On the outside for Halpin, inside for Vanchev. Halpin to the lead around the outside.
Able to take advantage of the teammate. Oh, a crossover. Vanchev parked it on the apex, forces the checkup. Vanchev trying to paint the lines as low as he can without majorly going to the wet areas. Now he's got a small buffer. Good move by Vanchev to make the kart stick and got some leeway from his competitor. Some give and take there on his slide attempts to block.
Minute and a half plus a lap to go. Alexander Vanchev fighting with all his might here to close out this banner year, this banner day, with 2 titles and another tick in the win column. But he'll have to do it and deny Jose Alejandro Halpin, who's hunting for his first, I believe. Tristan Murphy has won plenty of big ones already, and now he's got another shot at one as Halpin gets the over-under done. Vanchev back to second.
Some great battling here with about a minute to go on the clock. Likely going to be about 2 laps to work with by the time they get around here based on the timing here. Vanchev looking to reset and regroup. Halpin has been lightning quick though as of late. Before some of the battling, he was before in the 1:18.5s last time by as the speeds kick up. He looks to try and close out strong. Vanchev, he's now comfortable with the inside lines with the curbing still. He now sends it back alongside. Halpin goes nearly wide on the outside. Vanchev yet again takes advantage of the first sector.
This one's not over, and it will only continue to shift here as the lead goes back and forth amongst the 2 RPG juniors. So many of the drivers that made the gamble on the slicks struggled in the first couple laps. Lucas Palacios now back up to 17th, but he started 7th. The net overall looks like it was worth it to burn the wets off. And in the case of Vanchev on the used wets, and maybe the same for his teammate in Halpin, that strategy call, we're seeing it just be enough for those 2 to play leapfrog out front with Murphy at bay behind.
Should be coming up to the white flag this time by here. It's not over yet between these 2. Vanchev seems to be quicker in the first sector. Halpin's been quicker in the back half of the course all the way through the third sector. Now looking to line up the draft yet again. Vanchev, he goes middle this time. Now goes hard inside. Back to middle. Now Vanchev misses the bottom. Halpin crosses him up. White flag is out final time around.
1 more lap to go for Jose Halpin. Alexander Vanchev, furthest back he's been in quite some time.
Do we have a new winner looking on? Can Tristan Murphy close the gap up as the sun peeks its head back out of the clouds on this final lap around an X30 Junior once again? 2 races still to go. It'll be back to slicks for sure for the Mini Swifts and Pro X30. But again, at any point, things could change. With half a lap, can Halfin hang on over Vanchev?
Right now, Halfin sliding around the tires, going through Sector 2. Meanwhile, still looking comfortable on the gap, but Vanchev's been able to close up rapidly before. Still behind by 5 kart lengths. Needs to find a way to rapidly gain. Halfin's not making any mistakes right now.
Final time, up the hill, turn 16. Jose Alejandro Halfin has never stood on the top step of a SKUSA Pro Tour before. That is about to change as he takes one final look over the shoulder. It is all going to be real. An RPG 1-2 with Jose Alejandro Halfin winning an X30 Junior.
Good run and a good finish for RPG as the rest of the drivers pass on by. Halfin absolutely elated here as they slide off the racetrack into pit road.
Having fun with the wet tires. There'll be no use for these after this session. They are roasted. And the gamble pays off. Lucas Palacio, best of the slicks, along with potentially Cole Medeiros and maybe Travis Pettit, based on the lap times there at the end. But overall, even the wet tires kind of got down around the same. You can see they're still there, but a lot of tread gone. How about it?
Amazing job out there. Good work, Jose.
Jose.
X30 Junior wrapped here with a little more cleanup still to go from another wild one. 16 minutes plus a lap the distance, and to my knowledge, that's what we will see still to the end of the day. Alexander Vanchev ends up as your X30 Junior unofficial champ, double champ on the year, clinched with that P2 run to his teammate Jose Halfin, who gets his first career win. Wyland and Ashton Woon, how about it for the Mini Swift champ from 2024? He'll be sporting a number 3 plate in the return for 2026 and gearing up for a title run. Pettit, Bradley, your top 5 and beyond. We'll go down to pit lane here with Caleb with 2 more mains to go.
Jose, I'll bring you over here, man. What a race. Your first, I'll turn you around here. But what a race for you, right? Talk about it. You're a national race winner. How does it feel?
Feels amazing. Can't be more thankful. Yeah, didn't think I could get it because on the first lap we had some problems, fall all the way back, like a couple places back, but managed to be incredibly quick, figure out the dry line better than the others, and managed to climb all my way. And I was seeing that I was catching the leaders. I was just telling myself, push, 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 just keep the concentration. You'll get it. And in the end, I got it. So, yeah, so happy.
Talk about those last couple laps as well, fighting with your teammate and Alex.
Yeah. Well, the fight was obviously great with me and Alex. As the lines were changing, obviously, the track was drying a lot. So as soon as I saw that he passed me using dry lines, okay, I know the moves, dry lines. I caught up to him, managed to get the move, an over-under move,
and just managed to pull away a little on that last lap.
Who would you like to thank for your first race victory?
First, I'd like to thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for allowing me the victory. Then Eric Leone, my coach, Alexis Vanegas, my mechanic, RPG for the incredible package the whole weekend. Really happy. Yeah.
Congrats, man. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
We'll move on here as well. Double champ. How does that sound, Alex?
Amazing, amazing. I mean, I said it's before at KA, I said it's unlike anything I've ever experienced before, and we just matched that again, becoming a double champion. Yeah, it's just no feeling in the world can be greater than this, in my opinion.
What's next for you?
So I'm going to make my debut in senior at Supernats, and just aim to compete with the bigger dogs, and then hopefully for 2026 I can get a car campaign going, and then try and get my career up on the ladder into cars, and then hopefully into senior racing like Formula One or IndyCar.
Well, there you guys have breaking news from Alex Vanchett moving to senior. Congrats.
Thank you.
Engines are fired. We'll be ready to come back with more activity from Newcastle when we return. Mini Swift main event action.
Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix. James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakRacing.com.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Welcome back, everyone, to Kart Chaser. It's time for some Mini Swift brought to you by Speed Concepts Racing. It's time to see how the concept of pace is put together by our top runners. Maxwell Macho will start on the pole. Wyatt starts in second. Enzo DeGennaro will start in third position with Win Gonchar. Rounding out your top 5, top 4, should say. James Francisco is the top 5 with Lawrence Perriman in the 6th position. Then it's Megenberg and Nachawati, Orioli, and Johnson, your top 10, Xander.
Final 2 main events on tap, 16 minutes plus a lap apiece. Originally scheduled for 14 laps here. We'll see what it ends up. It should be close to it. Speed Concepts Racing Mini Swift with Macha and Wyatt. Full song down to turn 18, and we're going to take a few of them off.
Nachawati amongst those off the racetrack. Multiple yellow flags flying as they'll try and get the carts pulled. Orioli too.
Lucas Tarango as well there, beached in the grass in the 187. After another dose of rain, that's just going to be tough to be able to drive or even push your way out of in the Mini Swift category, much less anything higher speed like Pro X30 up on deck. For now, Macha leads. Enzo DeGennaro is in third ahead of Jaden Francisco, and these two enter the weekend with a massively close championship fight. We'll get to that. Let's get through the first lap though first, make sure that they survive it as well, and behind them the same for the rest of the group as there's double moves going on. Wyatt to the lead, Francisco to third, and it'll still be up for grabs and debate up front. Macha didn't want to give it up. He's going to have to now.
That's quickly allowed both Francisco and DeGennaro to close right on up. Another swing back by Macha, heading through 16, parks the apex, able to slow up Wyatt. Now it's a question, does Francisco take an opportunity to build up a run to get back alongside? Does Wyatt elect to poke? No, he elects to just push as the top 3 try and run away from DeGennaro after the first lap.
Still lots of time left though, right? With the dry conditions now, you know that the pack is going to split somewhere. 5th, 6th, and 7th are in that danger zone, I'd call it, Justin. What they need is a lot of racing like this. And it is a mano-a-mano fight here. Parallel USA, Ryan Perry Motorsport, Nitro Kart,
2 on 2 up until more join the party. Here comes Schneegenberg and the Bannock of Win Godshock, the LN Kart for BJR of Lawrence Perriman. We're 7 deep again up front.
Lots of people with an opportunity here as Francisco needs to reset. Once again, Perriman says, I'm going to set myself forward. Schneegenberg has looked really solid today in the GWR kart to be able to keep on moving forward, going back and forth with Perriman though, like a basketball, able to make that pass and be able to find the open layup for the move, so to speak. Now it's the matter of can they close up 4, 5, 6 kart lengths to rejoin and recompress that pack again.
Colton Schneegenberg, you touched on it in the pre-final. He had kind of been outside the spotlight earlier in the weekend, and he started to march his way through the grid after a so-so qualifying effort today. Now he's right there in the conversation and will be close again as we trade the lead once more. Aston Wyatt, Faston in the 121. Back to the point. Here comes teammate Jaden Francisco to the inside. Contact with Macha. He'll go wide. Enzo Di Gennaro takes advantage and moves to second.
That pushes that 174 Macha right out of the conversation for the time being, all the way outside the top 5. Not to be happy with that squeeze off, but 50-50 play with that battling side by side through that section through turn number 3 with the edge of the rumble strip. Now Di Gennaro looking to it back up for a run. Maybe take himself a swing by the time they get to the back straightaway up to 17 and 18 once again. Looking like he's just following the tire tracks. Now goes for the surprise attack. Able to move his way past Wyatt.
There you have it, another move up front. Still lots of movement behind them as well, so we'll keep an eye on it all with only, again, working lap number 3 of this main. But now, if you look to Enzo Di Gennaro, you see a sea of red and black behind him. Wyatt with Francisco, with Schneegenberg. Colton Schneegenberg, not much of a dog in the fight. The Team GWR driver just happens to find a lot of speed on the Nitro kart and like the package. He's going to follow the fellow Nitros, though, past Di Gennaro, and it moves the 190 back to 4th, now into the clutches of Lawrence Perriman.
Everybody seems to have the boxing gloves out, trying to treat their karts like they're not wrapped in bubble wrap, but with thorns on the sides to be able to try and spook our competitors. Still, though, as they keep on fighting it out here, it's going to be the question, where will the rotation stop and spit out the position? Enzo Di Gennaro going back and forth now with Perriman. Puts the hand signal out as he now goes 3 wide down through the corner. Perriman doesn't want to back out of it. Squished out. Di Gennaro instead's the one who goes in the grass.
Oh, man. Wild stuff. Enzo Di Gennaro now in real danger of losing a lot of points here in what enters today a very, very close championship fight between himself and Jaden Francisco. And there's others who could play spoiler as well. But Francisco now is up in the lead pack in second. Di Gennaro well away from both packs. Back to the third group here that we're watching. There's your top 3. Another 3-pack behind them. And then further back as they run to the line. This time by, it'll be 4 laps complete. Still far from the end and not even yet to halfway. But that does change the complexion of this championship so far.
Yeah, this championship was pretty close coming in. How close? How about this? This is the estimated live points here unofficially. 5-point difference. If Francisco takes the lead here, he could come away on top. In fact, it updates to be a -15 Francisco's way now. That's how big the swing of positions has now gone for Di Gennaro with how he's been shuffled back in the pack. Di Gennaro needs to recover some spots and needs to do it quickly.
Yeah, part of that, again, comes from Enzo Di Gennaro currently holding the fast lap time. Now, give that honor to Santiago Orioli, one of the victims in the opening lap carnage. He takes those 10 points back off the table, and the margin goes back to 5 markers, still just barely in the order. So, you're watching, again, the top 3. Aston Wyatt, Jaden Francisco, and Colton Schneegenberg. If nothing changes from here, by our math, the title would potentially go the way of Jaden Francisco. And again, the other part here too is how good Jaden Francisco's been across the season. How low or of a drop in comparison Di Gennaro has to Enzo. Because Enzo Di Gennaro entering the weekend
still has a decent drop. Francisco the same, but Enzo with the deficit needs to find a way to get into the top 4 to be able to really control his own destiny.
Yeah, and that's going to be easier said than done unless they start really scrapping again in that second pack. And right now, they are all spread apart, gapped about a little bit. Gottschalk leading that respective pack. Macha just trying to work together to be able to get back up to the top 3. Francisco is remaining a bit patient here in this run. No major lunges quite yet, with still about 8 minutes on the clock. Smeegenberg has been great this run here. He is a bit of the wild card in terms of those who have performed all season. Speaking of which, takes a peek to the outside, didn't work through the shark fin.
We'll get the cross flags, I believe, this time by. We're right around that point here, 16 minutes plus a lap. So with the 8-minute counter getting right down to even at the stripe. Still teamwork making the dream possible for Jaden Francisco. And all those trips down here to race in the States from Canada, worth it. One of the youngest drivers eligible for Mini Swift, only 8 years old. And behind him, the next group is Enzo Di Gennaro's best hope, because he's all by himself, 3.5 seconds away. His teammate Maxwell Macha, and then a pair of oddballs in Lawrence Perriman and Win Gottschalk. They're closing in on the 3 up front. And Enzo, to his credit, is not giving up. Full throttle, fast lap that time, picking up half a second by himself as Macha tries to get 4th away from Gottschalk. Won't happen.
And our point swing just like that, because the fast lap potentially here. Di Gennaro is trying to go as hard as he can on his own. And he's been up front most of the season for a reason. He's a fast driver, has a fast kart, has a fast setup. The tough thing's going to be getting into that draft and then taking advantage without being held up here. It's going to need to keep pushing and pushing without roasting the tires right now at this rate, as Macha looks back and wants to keep Perriman at bay as they lose ground to Gottschalk here, and Gottschalk is now whiffing into the draft of the top 3.
6.5 minutes plus a lap now. Another one down. That's 7. I think, again, we'll end up either at 13 or 14 laps for the main in Mini Swift. We've been able to keep most of them going since the drop of the green, albeit with the carnage off the rip for Orioli and Liam Nachawati as the biggest victims from that. And those drivers that are still digging, Orioli 28 seconds back trying to catch up to the tail end of the field. Ruben Greer was also a bit collected in it. Liam Nachawati, he's still digging as well, but without any major changes or red flags, they'll be just running the rest of this main all by themselves to close out their season. A heartbreaker, to say the least. They both showed a lot of promise yesterday, especially for Nachawati, in the pre-final for Orioli. Nothing they can do but turn 1 and opening lap carnage.
Di Gennaro still has not been able to really chip away yet. Last time by, he was 3/4 tenths quicker. That's not going to be enough overall, really, unless he's able to do 4 or 5 tenths, I think, realistically, each and every lap consistently right now to get there this time of the pylon. He stayed dead equal, in fact, this time to the rest of the pack. 116.9, leader of the group, 116.9, and Gottschalk. So it's going about break even.
It's back and forth, right? You have to look overall on the net gains and then losses. Enzo's been consistent at the 116.9. It's all you can ask out of your young driver. And when there is shuffles and changes like that, a bobble that ends up leaving Schneegenberg by himself now in 3rd, and Francisco and Wyatt by themselves up front. Colton Schneegenberg's now going to give a little bit of an extra boost to 4th and 5th attempts to close the gap. And all Enzo really needs is for Win Gottschalk and Maxwell Macha to keep doing what they're doing, because now with the toe off the back of Colton and acting as a bit of a bridge between the two groups, it won't take much to be able to get up there and challenge Jaden Francisco and Aston Wyatt. In fact, again, for Jaden Francisco, as crazy as it sounds, needing as many points as possible to secure the title. His best chance, his best choice right now is to do exactly what you're seeing him do. Push his teammate Aston Wyatt away and just hope that the rest of the pack stays in line to catch him, and they keep Enzo De Janeiro back at about a second and a half, but he just gained a little more. Again, all by himself.
Yeah, able to chip away a small bit right now. The top two doing a great job as a unit. Able to claw ahead. Macha building up lots of momentum, has that fastest lap now of this race, his direction. Yet again, less than 4 minutes to work with here. He'll try and get back up there. Needs a little bit of squabbling to do so, and if they start squabbling up, well, De Janeiro is almost in drafting distance. 1.4 back. Needs to close up a few more kart lanes to start getting the full draft effect, to have a true shot to be able to join up here. And Perriman might become the bridge kart to be able to do so. Perriman is starting to lose a bit of touch here to the rest of these drivers by a couple kart lanes.
Yeah, that could again help bring Enzo up to this pack, just like in the same way Schneegenberg could connect the two groups together. But it all comes down to, again, how they work from here on. 3 minutes, boys, plus a lap. You see how good and in lock Jaden Francisco is with Aston Wyatt. They were 1.49 out for Macha last time. This time by, down to 1.1. Big time gains for our one of our best qualifiers in the class, Maxwell Macha, over the last few races. He is feeling the flow right now on the 174 Parolin. That was a monster lap, resetting the best time of the race for the second time already, and taking the points off the table for either of the championship contenders. Lawrence Perriman now sending it on the inside of Schneegenberg. That'll push him back to 6th.
Yeah, keeping an eye still on, can De Janeiro get to that next pack right now? Still 1.3 back. He's marginally closing on up right now. The live points. Francisco still can just ride and do what he needs to do. Just stay up at the front. If he needs to, he can make the move on Wyatt. Obviously, we won't know what's going on behind him fully with how far back it could be, but he does have the flexibility to be able to make the pass, build up the buffer that way, go for the race win. He still has that choice, and likely will make that choice in a couple minutes' time.
Minute and a half plus a lap to go, and yes, let's set the stage a bit. It's about a 10-point swing once you start working your way to the pointy end of the field. A 20-point swing from first to second, and then there's the 10-point fast lap bonus. Macha has the fast lap, and you know we're going to see a lot of battling at the end. It'd be hard for anyone to dethrone him. So take that and throw it off to the wayside. With Jaden Francisco second, if De Janeiro can get to 5th, he would be able to steal it by 5. He needs 2 spots right now, sitting back in that 7th position. Actually, it wouldn't be by 5. At 7th, 134 points. He would get it by 1 if he got all the way up to P5, from 134 markers to 150. So for Jaden Francisco, winning, all of a sudden that puts it much further for Enzo's reach. But if De Janeiro gets to 5th and Aston Wyatt can hang on to score the win, well, we've got a much different ball game, and the closest championship we've seen so far today, at least for the way it'll end out. And De Janeiro's already got 1. That's Perriman, P6 now for Enzo. The race continues. If Enzo can get the fast lap, that would also be the 10-point swing he needs. So 6th with fastest lap for De Janeiro could do it. But this is all again banking on an Aston Wyatt win. 2 laps to go now as the timer will hit 0 next time by. So we'll do full 14 laps here for the distance. Fast lap that time to win Godshock.
Able to trade the times here, and now it's full-on push move for De Janeiro to try and set a hot lap here. Has to be able to fly, has to be able to try and do something. The leaders, still decent separation. There's De Janeiro, doesn't have to worry about Perriman trying to make a move back. There's the points differential, still about 13 is the estimate. This could be close.
Yeah, it should be. It's going to tighten up here as it continues to populate and update. Win Godshock now with the fast time honors. And would that change again this lap, as De Janeiro's already caught up to Colton Schneegenberg. Big toe lap maybe for him, and a big pass for Francisco at the same time for the race lead.
Aston Wyatt looking to go back on him. Here's Macha to play spoiler as well. He'll push Aston Wyatt down the inside. Francisco to the high side. Back to third. Back to fourth. Side by side for P3. Godshock's going to take that spot away. And Aston Wyatt now is going to deal with Macha. Maxwell wants the race win. Can he get through? He does. Godshock to second. Francisco back to third. White flag.
Francisco needs to pick up spots, needs to get it back right now. Right now, side by side, Godshock with the elbows out into the grass once again. Goes the machine of Macha. Now goes defensive. Wyatt staying to the inside as well. Macha trying to think about things. Francisco trying to set up a crossover, going to the outside. Now getting passed by Perriman. Now might get passed by DeGennaro.
Side by side contact. Lawrence Perriman up in the air. Around goes the BJRLN kart. And then there were 6. DeGennaro still battling at the back for the 4th position. That, I believe, would be enough, potentially. Fast lap honors the way of Godshock. He leads the way to the green turn. Big over-under for Colton Schnegenberg. Can he stay on the inside of Francisco? No. They all go to the bottom. DeGennaro to the high side, looking to cross anyone up. Francisco's muscled his way to second. Win Godshock, looking for the win. It would be 3 over the last 4 mini Swift mains, but here comes Francisco. Another over-under, back and forth. Aston Wyatt back in third, DeGennaro 4th. Lots of pushing and shoving, and Francisco exits with the lead. Jaden Francisco needs to win to even have a chance at this point. Down the backstretch, final time. Look at Aston Wyatt on the bottom. 3 wide, contact. Jaden Francisco wins it. And does he get the title? I believe he does. Unreal. Jaden Francisco, with the chips stacked against him, wins the championship by 25 points over Enzo DeGennaro and the final race of the year.
Oh my goodness, once again, that got frantic and fast. That was absolutely wild to decide the closing of this one, but it was quite simple. Were you going to be able to keep the coolest of minds and prevail here? Well, the answer is absolutely in the way of Francisco, as all the championship competitors talk about that one.
Well, unfortunately here, emotions for these young men, obviously 8 to 12 years old. This is a lot of pressure and a big stage. But by the numbers, as they cross the line, Jaden Francisco wins the race and the championship.
They're fighting me. Dumb, all 3 of them. I didn't. They came towards me. Win, Macha, and Enzo. Everyone.
That's it, Jay. That's how you race, buddy. Congrats, bud. Jay, good race. Hey, bud. Hey. Jay, do.
I'll get a transponder from Tech. Come on, you guys, clear away, clear away, clear away, please.
Jay, huh? Good job.
Hey, my man. Attaboy, Jay. Heck yeah.
Drivers still in the midst of celebrations as Pro X30, brought to you by Kart CRG USA, now hits the racetrack. It's our final of the day. Diego Ramos is on the pole, Paulie Massimino will start alongside. Frankie Mossman starts in the third position. Ruben Moya has had some stellar runs today. He'll start in fourth. Gus Lawrence from the UK starts in fifth. Blake Nash is in sixth spot. Seventh goes the way of Austin Garrison of note. Alan Isambard in eighth. Norberg will start ninth, Xander. That was a big shuffle after some discussions with race control.
And it changed the point standings, as we'll quickly shuffle the leaderboard here for you to see the starting lineup. Shortly here, we have the updated tally of what the points look like coming into this main event as well. We left this class the last time you saw them on screen with what we thought was a 50-point lead for Norberg. It's only 33 or only 32 now, as he got the same penalty Garrison got back at round 4, a driving down penalty at the end of the pre-final. So now Garrison from 7th, Norberg from 9th. They're stacking up and ready. Contact further back, but we look good enough for the green up front for the final time this year. Pro X30 is green. Oh, off goes Isambard through the grass over at turn number 2. Diego Ramos with the early getaway to the top spot. And then it is Mossman to Moya. Massimino. Here's Moya looking for second off the rip down in turn 4.
Some aggressive battling as more drivers go off the racetrack in the midfield. Some cautions as 3-4 more karts. Is that Isambard again?
Twice through the grass, about as much time mowing the lawn as he's had on the pavement. Now Garrison all over Gus Lawrence here at the end of the first lap. Halfway through it, he's got Blake Nash behind him. Then it's Ingrata. Then Ryan Norberg, the two in the title fight. 32 points separated. Both of them needing to perform today. Contact! Garrison around! Garrison up and over the side of Paulie Massimino. In contact with Lawrence. He's trying to get back going. He will at the end of the train. And now Ryan Norberg just has to cruise to the finish here to close out a title. If nothing else happens, that could be, well, usually we would think this would be an easy ride home for championship number 11, but we've seen it all this weekend. 16 minutes plus a lap as Ramos leads the way to Moya. Mossman, now Gus Lawrence, and then it's this group. Ingrata, the new big-time points leader in Norberg, and ZCD.
What a turn of events once again. Garrison trying to make that send up the inside, but we've seen the contact send him off into the grass. Now it's the matter of just Norberg, as you mentioned, keeping it clean, keeping it focused, just has to have a solid race. Doesn't need to be flashy with it, just needs to drive. Some of the errors in the mid-pack trying to be flashy. You can see drivers in that next pack like Drew, like Vasquez Jr., some of those drivers back there battling. As we take a look at the replay.
Austin Garrison right behind Lawrence, looking to go. Lawrence goes on Massimino. Blake Nash got in a bit deep, wanting to follow and also pass Garrison. And Blake Nash with that last kind of ditch effort to slam on the brakes when he saw Garrison coming down, ends up putting him 3 wide. Massimino had no idea there was more than one kart underneath them, and they sandwiched Austin Garrison. And out goes the hopes of the number 6. Still, the race is on, and we are early in the going, but Diego Ramos is looking strong. Battling through the midfield currently. Chase Cassie at lead, battling it out with Naomi Garcia. Up the road is Caden McQueen on the Velocity Sodi, looking for something to bring back here after what's been a miserable weekend here for the most part. He's had some spotlight moments, but they've not been for what he would have liked to be on screen for. He's now got himself into the top 10, currently sitting 9th behind Jesus Vasquez Jr., trying to salvage a Circle of Champions spot for next season. Blake Nash with a send there on Timothy Pernod into the pit lane. Heavy damage to the radiator for Donovan Bonilla. He's out as well, another big player. As Garcia puts the boot and scoot there, the young lady from Trinidad moves what looked to be Tim Pernod out the way. He'll send it back, and the midfield fight continues. And with Donovan Bonilla now going out of the main with a bummer drop already in the bag, it's now bumped him out of the top 10 in the Circle of Champions fun. Gus Lawrence playing spoiler to that, missing out on opening weekend in Houston, Texas. He's ineligible, but with the drops and being a race down, 4 out of 5 counting, he's inside the top 10. He'd love another win.
and so would Ryan Norberg to cap things off.
And so far, this has been an interesting one when it comes to a lot of the equation, but Norberg just cool as a cucumber on screen, just maintaining and driving his line. Keep it up with Lawrence. Ramos, meanwhile, this is going to be a stellar weekend for Ramos in general. Championship in one class today, also picking up some potential opportunities for wins. He has been absolutely blistering quick around this racetrack, has this layout memorized with what he's been able to bring. That Ramos camp's going to be over the moon. But still, you have a lot of drivers that have a lot to prove. Mossman had some discussions, of course, when he had the top three in the first place. He's kept his head nice and cool today, the Canadian, keeping himself forward.
Frankie Mossman, the Californian.
California, yes.
Southern California native. First race weekend back with a crew he's had a lot of success with in the past. Speed Concepts Racing. They're all losing a lot of ground right now already, though, to Diego Ramos, who has just been on fire. As Mossman bears down on Ruben Moya, he'll go to the inside. Moya losing touch with the leaders, gonna not fight it too hard and still try to play the game towards the front. You have a lot of experience up here. No, actually, Moya back to the inside. Takes back second, Mossman crosses him up, and at the same time, Norberg gets the better of Lawrence. Ryan Norberg, Gus Lawrence, these two, along with Garrison, were head and shoulders above the field when it came to tire management in Cincinnati. Will we see the same here? Will they even get the chance to? As now Moya begins to park the bus. Moya looked back. He shook his head when he saw Norberg pointing forward. He knew exactly what Ryan wants him to do. He wants him to leave the door open to go by. I don't know if Ruben's going to let him. He's going to cover low again. And Ryan is going to have to wait for the straightaway as Aiden Ingrata locks in behind. Norberg's looking for help as Ramos' lead is going to magnify now to Mossman. There is your leader. There is Frankie Mossman. Ruben Moya continues to block low and back him up. 4 seconds now as Norberg looks for a hole in two. Not there.
Right now, things still trying to figure out a way for Ascend. Moya taking a little bit of a wider line. Norberg near contact, trying to pressurize Moya into a mistake.
Oh, there was contact. He definitely wanted to put the bumper to him, and he did. He's trying to see what he can do to salvage this main. Ryan Norberg, when we asked him about some of the prize money he's already hauled in this year, he said, dude, I'm not spending anything. Babies are expensive. And his wife and him expecting their first daughter, Olivia, later in the year in just about a month and a half. He's trying to pad the bank account for it. And that's what also, again, pays. He's got the championship, but there's a lot more money still for the top three. And Moya's trying to do the same. Not just the title as well for Ruben, but to stay in the top 10 in the Circle of Champions Fund. All of this, though, in just a matter of laps, is backing everyone up. Ramos is long gone. Mossman is long gone. And the run down the straight, Norberg finally finds a gap down low. Moya, no choice here but to surrender. And, oh, man, still tried to fight it. Norberg gets by. Here comes DeMello to play spoiler into Norberg. DeMello goes out, and contact sends the number one backwards. No front bumper. Ryan Norberg will have to pull in this championship. I said there has been craziness already, and now Ryan Norberg had the title on lock, but Garrison did not pull in. He did not give up. Austin Garrison was still digging and still going, and he still is back in 27th. This is not done yet. It still needs to be an impressive haul for Austin Garrison, but Norberg's going to get a beat ball any minute.
Yeah. And
again, Austin Garrison, that higher drop, being so consistent through all 5 rounds to this point. Norberg with a bad day yesterday. He needed to make up for it today. He needed 194. He couldn't afford this, but no front bumper. Only 56 points in the pre-final, and the meatball flag is absolutely going to be going to the points leader. This championship has just exploded.
I was about to say this is huge, and there, I believe, was it there. Norberg is not going to be happy whatsoever. What a change for the championship. Garrison just needs to keep it on the racetrack. There goes Norberg. Title is out the window. Norberg's bumper is on the track surface.
Right next to the Kart that took it with him, ZCD. Contact between those two.
A storied history between Zach Clayman DeMello and Ryan Norberg that has been far from positive. And this is another chapter in that one, unfortunately. For Austin Garrison, Ryan Norberg going out. Who knows if he knows it? He probably thought his hopes were over and dashed on that first lap contact with Blake Nash. But now, by Garrison staying on the racetrack and digging, he's patting it. But we go to the scale line, and you can see it begin to set in. Ryan Norberg had it all going right until it didn't.
Walking over here with Ryan. Ryan, I know, heartbreak for you. Talk to me about the emotion right now.
I mean, I don't know what Moya's doing. Because he just wants to ruin everybody else's day. And then we all got stacked up. I mean, I don't really know what happened. I'm sure there's a bunch of guys pushing Zach through and, you know, just climbs over the top of me. But I don't know. I mean, he just wants to ruin everybody's day. So, yeah, he did it. You know, nothing else to say.
Sorry, Ryan.
Yep.
Appreciate the words there with Ryan Norberg. Here's a look at the instant replay. Sends it down the inside, finally gets past Moya. Here's DeMello and Norberg side by side, and side-to-side contact between Norberg and DeMello as neither one wanted to give here in this deciding moment in the championship. Norberg trying to stay on, trying to stay tight, turning in to the corner. Ingrata on his heels. DeMello with a little gap back to Moya. Look at Jesus Vasquez Jr. in the grass, trying to see the wreck forming. And DeMello ending up in the wall and shrugging and going, what in the world just happened to me? I had just potentially gotten up to third.
Yeah, I think Ingrata right there. You see it right there as he starts to hit to the bumper.
Yeah, he was on the bumper, Ryan, but you can see Ryan's hands also shift. It was hard to say, right? Again, Ryan getting a little help. Ingrata just wanted to stay where he was. He knew Moya was down low. And, man, a tough one. A real tough one to swallow. But now, let's check back in. Austin Garrison, this main event may not matter too much because of how good he's been in the first 5 rounds of the year with a 240-point haul. But it's a testament to the never say die, never give up attitude of himself and the Speed Concepts Racing crew to stay out there, to keep hunting, to keep digging. At any point, this race, of course, could have been stopped too. But as we watch the run now, Austin Garrison hunting down the back of the field, 4 minutes plus a lap to go. Diego Ramos, by the way, and another storyline, is on his way right now to try and secure his first career Pro X30 main event win.
Absolutely stunning day here. Garrison just needs to make sure, keep it on the track, be able to celebrate. But it's been a chaotic day. It's been a wild day, to say the very least, Xander, in the first place. But Diego Ramos has been the constant. Constantly fast from the onset. He's dominated the polls all weekend. He's dominated the race, most of the races he's been a part of this weekend. Ramos having an absolute headline day. That trophy case going to be, well, full of trophies here for the end of this weekend. At least 3 top spot trophies in the weekend.
Yeah, he'll need to potentially check another bag. 2 main event wins already in KA Senior. The championship already clinched a day early. 1 today just for fun. And now on his 3rd potential win. And as they run, this win would elevate Ramos to keep the number 3 plate and improve in the standings over Paulie Massimino and Austin Garrison. Leaning on the drop, the consistent 5 rounds he's had would secure the title. And you can all but put a stamp on that now, knowing with Norberg in and Garrison doesn't even need to finish, but he will anyway. What a turn of events here in Pro X30. And by the way, folks, it's not over for the podium either. Frankie Mawson right now, all by himself, due to all the chaos behind for 3rd, where Norberg went out fighting with DeMello and Moya and more. And that group is still going, the ones that made it through. Jesus Vasquez Jr. trying to
push himself further in the top 10. He's now leapfrogged well above the 10th spot, more than safe above the cut line. Caden McQueen with the run today he's been trying to put together is the next one on the bubble. It's Chase Hand on the outside looking in, along with Bonilla, who got bumped out with the contact in this main. Garrison still digging towards Iadavea, but let's check in on that 3rd, 4th, and 5th group here. Lawrence holding on. Vasquez Jr. is close as there's problems for Maverick McKenna up the road in the 87. The JHD Kart Republic is slowing, and that'll be another DNF, and Garrison cracks the top 20 now as he goes to work on Iadavea there in 19th, and Remy Andriatos on the TKG Bureau Art there in 18th. But the battle for P3 continues. Lawrence to Vasquez to Ingrata. Ruben Moya has faded back, and Paulie Massimino, the other factor in the crash with Garrison, the complete innocent bystander in it all, has set the fast lap of the race and is now charging, and he may even reach that podium battle. There is the leader, Ramos, well out in front, 4.5 seconds out. Then it's Mossman. Here's Garrison with another move to get by Iadavea. But up for 3rd, Lawrence versus Vasquez Jr. versus Ingrata versus Moya, maybe. Blake Nash is the next one that Paulie Massimino should get to in his comeback drive. He should be able to get to 2nd or 7th shortly with more on tap.
Now this is going to be an interesting close to the season, to say the very least. Much of the field staying nice and calm here, but keeping an eye on Gus Lawrence. Lawrence trying to make sure he stays on the racetrack, looking for another podium run here on his U.S. stateside visit. Ingrata has been able to squeak his way past Vasquez Jr. Ingrata trying to find a way to poke inside, outside, anywhere here, as they should come up to the white flag this time by. Moya has lost a lot of ground as this run has gone on, been shuffled outside the top 5 as well, as the speed has fallen off in the 17 machine. Lawrence looking to do it all here as he tries to defend the lines. Vasquez Jr. goes aggressive on the lines, across her back by Ingrata for the shark fin.
Jesus Vasquez Jr., Aiden Ingrata, Ruben Moya, Gus Lawrence. These are all drivers that have stood on the box this year on the SKUSA Pro Tour. The one that has not is the one closing in, but he may run low on laps. Paulie Massimino coming to the white flag. An impressive drive back up the field to get to 7th. Moya on the tail of Ingrata. Lawrence into 3rd safely now as he tries to put his head down and put one more clean lap in. And Diego Ramos is safely out in front here in the number 3 plate, looking to bring it home.
Has to drive it clean right now, taking a lot of curbing around this track. Can just hot lap from here. He's been one of the quickest karts on the racetrack outside of Paulie Massimino for these past few laps. Showcased all day long why he has been a force to be reckoned with here at Newcastle.
Diego Ramos, what a career for him. What a run for Austin Garrison as he exits the cell tower. Who knows if he's done the math and the calculations of what needed to happen for the title. And for Diego, a first career championship clinch yesterday, and it's another first today. So close, so many times, a track that has seen so much heartbreak. The Brazilian is finally a Pro X30 main event winner. Diego Ramos scores the win. Frankie Mossman 2nd. The fight for 3rd will continue to the end. And for Austin Garrison, the never say die, the never give up. When the chips have been stacked against him, it's been the story of his career, but now his career includes a SKUSA Pro Tour title. Austin Garrison, a shrug to the fence. He may not know it yet, but he will when we get to him. With the drop, even with that impressive comeback drive to finish 18th unofficially at the Checkers, driving all the way up past Iadavea and gaining on Finnegan Bailiff at the end. Austin Garrison is your 2025 SKUSA Pro Tour Pro X30 champion.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Austin knows it. His team was signaling to him on the fence line. Austin, I don't know if you know it, but you're a SKUSA Pro Tour champion in 2025. Wow. You talk about all of this heartbreak that this guy's been through, and again, we'll give you a moment to catch your breath. What a race. What an end to it, but it's finally true. It's finally happened here for Austin, and you see Frankie as well congratulating him. Here in this one, let him get his helmet off. And again, you were facing the wrong way at the end of the second lap to end it all. You're a SKUSA Pro champion. How does that sound, Austin?
That's first time for everything. I'm shocked. I don't even know what happened. I just know at the start, we got crashed, and I didn't know what was going on. Honestly, I didn't see what happened to Ryan or anything. I just kept my head down and just kept on pushing. I have no words.
You could have easily pulled in right after going off there in the scoreboard corner, and you stayed out. Why? Right? Anybody else would have pulled in.
Right? Yeah, I was so far back, but I know it's the last race, and it's what everybody says: never give up, no matter what. And it didn't fall into our favor in the first opening lap, but it kind of did towards the end, and I'm shocked. I can't thank the whole team enough. This is insane.
You're a champion in 2025, Austin. Enjoy that.
Thank you.
Austin Garrison, the reality can begin to set in, and the Speed Concepts Racing crew get their first Pro X30 title in SuperKarts USA Pro Tour competition. What a way, what a wild way for it all to go down to the line. Austin Garrison's consistency, that never say die attitude from that entire camp, pays off in the end. And while he didn't need to stay out there, he did. He drove every lap and tore through the field. It all looked like it was going wrong right here when Blake Nash and Paulie and Austin all collided behind Gus Lawrence on the very first lap of the race. And Garrison at that moment thought it was over. Norberg was up the road, and it looked like good for him. But Ruben Moya had backed them up, and the field had caught up, and then contact here as Norberg, Ingrata, and DeMello all running close, battling for P3. Collide. DeMello slams into the barriers, hunting for his first podium and his first try in the SKUSA Pro Tour for Pro X30 for Velocity Racing. And your unofficial results there, just incredible. Diego Ramos, finally a Pro X30 main event winner. Frankie Mossman on the podium, as well as Jesus Vasquez Jr., who gets one over on Gus Lawrence and Ruben Moya to end in fourth and safely secure a Circle of Champions spot for 2026 for Team GFC. Ruben Moya should be good enough to stand inside the top 10 on that as well. With that fourth, Gus Lawrence, fifth, Ingrata sixth. Paulie Massimino's incredible recovery should improve him in the standings, but he had a legit shot at third had it not been for the incredible Sunday performance here for Diego Ramos. And as you go back down the board, I mean, what a main event, what a day. So much unpredictable things have happened. So many unpredictable things have came our way, and the bad luck striking Ryan Norberg with the contact. He was able to continue, but it ripped the front bumper straight off. And sadly, the title defense comes up one spot shy. Austin Garrison, your unofficial Pro X30 champion by 92 points. Diego Ramos in a tie with Paulie Massimino, unofficially again on our calculations here, for the third spot in the championship. And if that's true, the tiebreaker, of course, goes off main event wins. And that is where today pays off for the Brazilian to keep the three-plate path. Paulie will improve to the 4 for next year. Blake Nash into the Circle of Champions fun with 5th. Then it'll be Ruben Moya. Gus Lawrence, again, sadly ineligible for missing out of rounds 1 and 2. And let's go a little bit further back here to where the cut line was. This, of course, everyone in the top 10, starting with Caden McQueen, hanging on, entering the weekend inside the top 5, struggling, but sticking with it. And he will have a spot waiting for him in 2026. Full entry and tires package along with a $1,000 cash prize from 10th that goes all the way up to the $10,000 cash prize entry, and even Supernats entries as well for first and second, but all the way up to the 10K for Austin Garrison. Vasquez Jr. in the Circle of Champions fund along with Ingrata, and just on the outside, but what a charge up the board for Chase Hand over the finale weekend. Donovan Bonilla sadly out of the top 10 after sporting the 8 plate this year. Then Jake Drew, Isambard, Ty Fisher had to miss out on this weekend. We missed him and wish him the best of luck as they wrap things up in Road America for USF Juniors. And Naomi Garcia, how about that? 16th in the final standings for her first full season in Pro X30 from Trinidad. Impressive. Well, that's again all results and championships unofficial, of course, as we display them to you. But there's still more coverage to go, and probably a lot to dive into in race control for the final few sessions as they review and wait for any other appeals and prep the championship final counts. The official counts, of course, that will have that fine-tooth comb with them. Let's go down to Caleb with Ruben Moya, who ends up with a top 5 and a chaotic main, for sure.
Because Jesus has pushback. I'm not sure. We'll find out as well. But again, that race got hairy throughout the middle. As well, with a couple of other drivers talk about that in the middle. I know Ryan was in that mix there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know I didn't have the pace to win, but I had the heart and the thing to fight. So I had to fight. I had to defend, and then I know other drivers, they don't know how to race and they crash. Often that's why they didn't win today. So the race today was for fighters. So that's why I ended on the front of the group, because I'm a fighter. I didn't have the pace to win, but I could fight.
Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you.
There you have it from Ruben Moya as he rolls through the scale line. Diego Ramos is going to get a heck of a celebration party headed his way now. 3rd in the points, a double win on the day, a sweep. We spoke to him after the KA Championship. We spoke to him again after KA Senior. He said, I'd be all right if it was the similar conditions, but of course he said he felt really good about his package in the dry, and boy was he right. He was a rocket ship, and while there was attrition further back, Justin, even still, he was one of the fastest lap in, lap out for the entirety of that main.
Yeah, consistently was putting up lap time after lap time that was unknockable when it comes to his average pace. He stayed pretty close to it. In fact, was setting his fastest laps of the race to close out in the 1 minute 8 second bracket. So Ramos just was an absolute rocket today. He's going to be very happy with his performance. A lot to build upon after this summer performance here in this state.
As we take our breath now from the on-track activity wrapping up, of course. Still lots more post-race stuff to dive into, but let's take a look back at your Coastal Link custom printing race recap. Diego Ramos on the inside, Paulie Massimino on the outside, and right off the bat, Alan Isambard getting shuffled out of the running order. He had such a good pre-final, looked strong, and Ruben Moya, he said he was a fighter. He said that's why he wanted to stay up front, and he didn't have the pace to win, but it looked okay on the first lap as the carnage continued behind him, getting by Mossman early. And right here, we thought this would be the championship deciding moment. Nash, Garrison, Massimino, and unfortunately it did put a damper on Paulie Massimino's hopes at 3rd in the point standings. But the championship was far from over. Norberg fighting to try and get past Ruben Moya, trying to get to the win, trying to get a little extra on the line with $2,500 to the race winner on the day. But all right here, it all went wrong for the number 1 plate as contact between himself, ZCD, and Aiden Ingrata sends DeMello to the wall, rips the bumper off of Norberg, and pushes Aiden Ingrata down the board. The number 1 plate then would get the meatball flag for the loss of the bodywork. And we spoke to him in the scales and the heartbreak, sadly, for Ryan Norberg on what would have been another record improving on his own to go from 10 to 11 Pro National titles and another SKUSA Pro Tour Championship. Instead, the story, the positive side, was for Diego with the race win. The battle for 3rd was incredible, and for Austin Garrison, finally, he's toppled the mountaintop here at the SKUSA Pro Tour in Pro X30. He's won a title in the gearbox classes many years ago, and one of the best talents, one of the most respected drivers in the pits. This will be a very popular championship celebration with Speed Concepts Racing for Austin Garrison and crew. 92 points, the unofficial margin here, Justin.
Yes, an interesting championship fight to say the very least. You never know what's going to happen the day of the championship. You never know if someone's going to have attrition. You never know if you're going to have mechanical fault. You hate when it happens via incident, but overall, it's about who's the most consistent, who's able to take advantage in situations when people aren't the most dire, and you end up having situations where yourself, you have to battle some potential adversity. Today, the championship going the way, unofficially at least, to Austin Garrison, because he had the most consistency throughout this championship and was able to withstand any of the bumps along his way overall.
A record-setting weekend. The SuperKarts USA Summer Nationals, 300 plus. And what a weekend of racing it has been. So much to break down from America's heartland, Spiceland in Newcastle at Newcastle Motorsports Park. And what a finale to the 2025 SKUSA Pro Tour. The road to Las Vegas is one step closer. We'll see you there.